Chapter 11. Chunin Exams, Forest of Death. Welcome everyone, Enko shouted to the Forest of Death. It doesn't seem all that scary, Kiba shouted as fast as lighting a kunai sailed past his face. The blade just lightly cut into his flesh, drawing a drop of blood. Enko was right behind him with a kunai at his neck. It's the hot-headed ones like you that end up splattered on the ground, Enko spoke. Usually she would lick the blood up but decided against it. Don't want Naruto killing the genin out of jealousy, yet. She felt a presence behind her. It was giving off subtle killing intent. Hello, I believe this is yours. It was a grass ninja holding Enko's kunai with an elongated tongue. Thanks, but you shouldn't be behind me, Enko stated with a hard smile. My boyfriend could get the wrong idea with the killing intent and kill you. Everyone saw the blonde behind the grass ninja. Gone was the mischievous smile. It was replaced with a hard mask. If his eyes were visible, many were sure that they were cold as ice. Take her warning, Naruto ordered. The grass ninja gave a predatory smile before backing away. That was unnecessary, Naru-chan, Enko spoke. I can take care of myself. Naruto didn't speak. He never took his blindfolded eyes off of the grass ninja. Enko knew to be on the guard. Hey, I'm still here, Kiba spoke. Good, Enko spoke. You can hand these out. She handed him a stack of papers. These are permission slips so that if you die we don't get blamed. What are we doing this time? Someone asked. The task is simple. Each team will be given a scroll. She held one that read heaven and one that read earth. Your job is to retrieve the opposite scroll from the other team. By any means necessary. She let that one hang in the air. You have 5 days to do so and make it to the tower in the center. What about food? Chuji asked. There are plenty of plants and wildlife in the forest, Enko assured. Just don't let them eat you first. If that becomes too difficult, you could eat one of your teammates. Naruto offered the one that is the least useful will be helpful by being dinner. What scared many genin was that Chuji seemed to actually be thinking. His eyes were shifting back and forth between Ino and Shikamaru. He began drooling at the prospect of a new flavor. Can we begin? Ino asked. Chuji is scaring me. The teams were each given a scroll. They were each designated toward a gate. A word of advice, Enko spoke, just don't die. The test began. Team 7 were moving through the forest at an even pace before coming to a stop. Once they covered enough distance, they came to a stop. Okay, we need a plan, Naruto stated. I think we. Who put you in charge, Baka? Sakura asked. Fine, Naruto sighed. Do either of you have a plan? I thought so, Naruto spoke. We should. He never got to finish his plan as he felt a large spike in chakra. There was only enough time to turn his head before he was hit. He was blasted away by a powerful wind jutsu. It carried him a great distance away. What hit me? Naruto asked. Hisses. Naruto turned to the sound. He was greeted by the largest snake he had ever seen. It stared him down with a predatory look. Are you one of Enko's summons? Naruto asked. The snake simply shook his head. Are you going to eat me? The snake didn't answer. It simply opened its mouth and swallowed Naruto whole. As the snake laid to digest the blonde, it felt strange. Soon pain erupted from its stomach as Naruto carved away at its innards. It had no choice but to spit Naruto out. The two looked at each other. Naruto shivered. He had just been eaten. He gathered himself as the snake made a second attempt. Naruto jumped to the side and released his hinge while taking a stance. He had never fought anything this big, but he has fought countless snakes. After all, he wasn't going to be anyone's supper. Jumping into the air, he brought his sword, still in sheath, down onto the snake's skull. The serpent fell unconscious under the blow. Be glad one of my Heims is a snake summoner, Naruto stated, otherwise I would have killed you. Now that the snake was unconscious, he could find his team. Relaxing, he spread his sensor meter a good distance before he found them. They were in the middle of battle with a powerful opponent. And losing. I need to get to them and fast. Without thinking, he jumped onto the unconscious snake. Giddy up, snake. The snake laid there. Giddy up. Come on, snake, giddy up. The snake continued to lie there. Naruto went behind the snake. Pulled his sword back. When I say giddy up, I mean giddy up. He swung it at the snake. The impact to the snake was great. It was enough to wake the snake up and send it into a panic. This caused the snake to start slithering away at incredible speed. Without Naruto. Whoa, snake, whoa, he ran after the serpent. The fight. Sasuke was at his limit. The grass ninja was just toying with him, even with his Sharingan he could barely keep up. Sakura was just switching between cheering Sasuke on and screaming in terror. "Whoa Snake, whoa," he heard a familiar voice speak, drew everyone's attention. "Come on, whoa." It was a ridiculous sight. When I say whoa, there was a loud impacting sound, I mean WHOA. The snake couldn't take much more of this. As Naruto stepped into the area, he was greeted with stares of disbelief. "What?" he asked innocently. "Dobe." Sasuke called. "Get out of here," he shouted. "This opponent is way out of our league. You can take that freak Sasuke-kun." Sakura cheered, though she went completely ignored. "This is what you want, right?" Sasuke held out their scroll. "Just take it and leave us." "Sasuke, you fool!" Naruto shouted. "If the enemy is as strong as you say, then what's to stop him from killing you anyway?" He eyed the grass ninja. "Isn't that right, Orochimaru?" "You are so clever, Naruto-kun," the enemy complimented. "What gave me away?" "There are only 2 snake summoners," Naruto answered, "and I'm currently dating the other." "You're really dating Enko?" Orochimaru asked. "And they call me the cradle robber." "I became legal when I put on this headband," Naruto stated. "Now, what are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm just here for Sasuke-kun." Orochimaru answered. "Now let's begin, shall we? I can make you pay for hurting my Harem." Naruto drew his sword and took a stance. He dropped his weights and removed his blindfold as prepared for battle. Even if he were to use his Shin no Ippo, stage 3, there was no guarantee he could win. He didn't have enough fear saved up. He had little to no control over the technique and just ran wild against whoever was in his way. The only reason he regained control was because of Enko, his Harem. He only beat Zabuza with it because the former Mist Nin was already tired. Orochimaru was one of the Sannin for a reason and looked full of energy. "So you want a sword match, huh?" Orochimaru mused. "Fine." The snake Sannin began to regurgitate something, a sword. Now Naruto had a chance. Orochimaru wasn't a Sannin for his sword skills. However, Naruto still needed to be careful. Orochimaru had superior speed, strength, and much more experience. Naruto decided to make the first move. He jumped toward a free branch next to Orochimaru. Looking the snake Sannin in the eye, he used Shin no Ippo, stage 1. The technique caught Orochimaru off guard long enough for Naruto to use another Genjutsu. Demonic illusion, double false surroundings. He hoped that Orochimaru didn't notice him start using Genjutsu. While he had the opportunity, he dashed toward the Sannin. Raising his sword, he made to decapitate the Rouge. His blade was blocked by the one Orochimaru was holding. So he broke free. He didn't think it would hold all that well anyway. Now they were in a power struggle. Unfortunately for Naruto, Orochimaru was winning. Then it caught his attention. "That sword," Naruto whispered. He jumped back onto another tree. It was the sword of Kusanagi. A blade that was said to be indestructible and capable of cutting through anything with enough force. It also came with a bunch of other tricks. "So you know of this blade?" Orochimaru asked, amused. "Do you still want to try yours against it?" Like he had a choice. The Sannin jumped toward Naruto, blade extended. While the Sannin was in midair, he made his move. Now invert. With Orochimaru's vision and balance distorted, he attempted a one-arm diagonal slash. Orochimaru tried to block, but you know how that goes. The blade made contact and Naruto was rewarded with the enemy's blood. As they fell, Naruto landed on a tree. Orochimaru attempted the same but fell through his. It was the illusion Naruto had placed in the beginning of the fight. The Sannin tried to right himself, but Naruto would have none of that. Everything the snake Sannin tried to grab was just an illusion. He landed on the ground painfully. Naruto jumped and landed on the other side of the clearing. Sasuke and Sakura followed behind after. "Dobe, how were you able to beat one of the Sannin?" Sasuke asked. "You fool," Naruto shouted. "He's not beaten, he's not even hurt." "You are very perceptive, Naruto," Orochimaru complimented, "and your skills are just as good." "Well, Sasuke-kun is better." Sakura howled. "Be silent, you pink thing," Orochimaru ordered. "If you hate Sakura, then maybe you aren't all bad," Naruto stated. "Sasuke, I need you to back me up here." "Baka," Sakura shouted. "You should be backing Sasuke up." "I'm going to kill her," Orochimaru stated. While Orochimaru was distracted by Sakura, Naruto decided to make his move. Dance of the Crescent Moon. 2 Narutos made their way to Orochimaru. The snake Sannin blocked the first blade with his own, and with a flick of his wrist he impaled him. He grabbed the second Naruto by the arm and tossed him head first into the Naruto that was attacking from behind. Fire style, Fireball Jutsu. It was a direct hit, however Orochimaru simply walked out of the flames. He eyed Sasuke with a disturbing look. The snake Sannin stretched his neck to inhuman lengths toward the Uchiha. He bit the Uchiha, leaving a mark on his neck. This caused him to scream in pain. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried as running to his side. What did you do to him? I just gave him a little gift, he answered. It will also keep him from interfering with my fight with Naruto-kun. Let's begin, Naruto stated. Let's, he agreed. I wish to see what the one who believes himself to be fear can do. Naruto attempted a forward thrust. The Sannin merely stepped to the side. Leveling his sword, Orochimaru made for a side slash. Naruto raised his sword to block, but the blow was too heavy and knocked him down. As he picked himself up, he saw Orochimaru. The snake Sannin was standing over him like a predator. I believe I smell fear from you, Naruto, Orochimaru taunted. With great force, Naruto was back slapped across the clearing, striking shadow snakes. Several snakes flew out to the still airborne Naruto. They latched their fangs into his and pulled him back. Naruto was greeted to Orochimaru's sword pointed to his face. Naruto pulled his sword arm up and cut through the snakes binding him. He then delivered a chakra-infused kick to the snake Sannin's stomach. Instead of being pushed back like Naruto had hoped, Orochimaru merely grunted. Grabbing Naruto by the back of his head, he placed the sword to his neck. Giving a chakra-infused elbow to the stomach, he freed himself. He jumped back a few feet to make some distance. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He summoned 5 and they each made a dash for Orochimaru following the original. The snake Sannin dispatched them easily. The snake Sannin delivered a kick to Naruto, bringing him to his knees. He was forced to drop his sword from the pain. He pointed the Kusanagi at Naruto. The blonde fell back in fear. What he did next would shame him. He ran. He didn't know where he was. He just knew that he was tired and scared. He felt a familiar pulling sensation in the back of his mind. You little twerp, a familiar voice growled. How dare you? I'm sorry, Naruto whispered, ashamed. I know I shouldn't have ran. You're damn right you shouldn't have, Kyuubi agreed, but that isn't what has me so angry. It isn't, he asked the fox. Then what does? You were afraid, the fox shouted. You felt fear, my container felt fear. From a snake I was losing a life and death battle. It wouldn't be the first time, Kyuubi pointed out, and you didn't use any of the techniques I taught you. I didn't have enough fear for the Shin. I'm not talking about that, Kyuubi spoke. You haven't used any Genjutsu I taught you, but that one. You haven't even used my Kenjutsu since Wave, and you only used the basics. I can't control the illusions, Naruto stated, and your sword style is for killing and maiming. You aren't supposed to control the illusion, and what do you think the sword is for? But what are you afraid of? The fox asked. You mouthed of to me. The Kyuubi, the fox stated. You taunted the demon of the mist, you even stared down the Ichibi container, so I know you don't fear death. The Ichibi container? You mean Gaara? Naruto asked. Don't change the subject, the fox growled. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of myself. Naruto shouted. I'm afraid of what I can do. It became a whisper of what I will do. I see, the fox mused. You fear your control over yourself. What if I hurt my Heims? He asked. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. They Kyuubi wanted to be angry at the brat but couldn't. Even the giant fox had a heart when it came to this matter. But as the container of Kyuubi, there could be no weakness. Brat, I will no longer help you, the fox stated, until you find your resolve. You are on your own. With nothing more to say, the fox ejected Naruto from his own mind. Guess I'll go find my team, he thought, if they're still alive. Naruto spread his sensor radar as far as he could. He found Orochimaru first. The snake Sannin wasn't with his team. He was with Enko, his Heim. It took less than a second for Naruto to decide his next action. He ran toward the direction of the 2 snake users. Naruto may be afraid, but it wasn't of death. He would happily die for any of his Heims. He was afraid he wouldn't make it in time. And Enko was worse for wear. She was completely exhausted and had used nearly all of her chakra. She had enough left for just one jutsu. Goodbye girls, Irika. Naruto. Twin snake mutual death. I'm sure you don't want to waste your life like that, Orochimaru stated. How do you think your dear Naruto-kun would feel? That question was enough to make her cancel the suicide jutsu. What have you done with Naruto-kun? Enko asked in fear. Nothing too bad, just a friendly spar, he stated. To my disappointment he ran away. Well, now I'm back, a new voice spoke. Naruto-kun, Anko shouted, get out of here. Well, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru spoke. Are you going to give me a better fight this time? Naruto said nothing. There was nothing he could say. He took his usual stance. They moved simultaneously, and their blades met. It was another power struggle as they fell from the treetops. They landed like cats, never breaking their struggle. Naruto pushed Orochimaru back. The snake Sannin made a side slash at Naruto's legs. The blonde jumped and attempted a straight slash down. Orochimaru backstepped, avoiding the blade. The Kusanagi took the blow, being pushed into the ground. Using his sword as a stand, Naruto delivered a kick to Orochimaru's face. Orochimaru backstepped even further. Very good, Naruto, Orochimaru complimented. What gave you such a new flair? Naruto stayed silent, not talking. Well then, show me more? The snake Sannin made for a one-handed thrust. Naruto side-stepped and swung at his exposed body. The blade made contact. Before Naruto could feel any satisfaction, pain erupted from his back. It was only because of his tolerance that he was able to stand. The Orochimaru before him dissolved into a puddle of mud. Another stood behind him. Naruto, Anko screamed. She dived down to help the blonde. Drawing her kunai, she began to recklessly slash away at the Sannin. With no chakra or focus, her movements were slow and sloppy. Orochimaru simply dodged each one as if it were child's play. I'm not interested in you, Anko, Orochimaru spoke. The snake Sannin raised his hands and formed a seal. It was a seal she was all too familiar with. It was the one she feared most. She fell to the ground, screaming in pain. Orochimaru had activated the curse seal on her. Naruto ran to her side. He completely ignored the snake Sannin, all he cared for was his Harem. Anko, he cried, get up. Oh, so she was your motivation, Orochimaru stated. No wonder you fought so hard. Stop it, Naruto shouted, I'm your opponent. Sorry, Naruto, he falsely apologized, but no can do. Naruto glared at the snake. He activated the fox glare, but nothing happened. He tried over and over again. Not gonna happen. What? Why? You need to give in. Never. Naruto dashed toward the Sannin but was simply backhanded. I will deal with you when I'm done with her, he stated, unless you show me what you used at the bridge. Do you hear that? Kyuubi asked. He is going to kill your mate, then you, I know. Then give in. But, do you want to be alone again? Kyuubi asked. Do you want one of your Harems to die in front of you? No. Then give in. All right. All right. All right. Orochimaru looked toward the mumbling blonde. He was greeted with a pair of fox-like eyes glaring at him. It shocked him, but he knew enough not to look directly at them. That wouldn't stop it. The forest went black. Naruto unleashed more killer intent and fear than should have been possible. It filled the forest to the point that it stopped other genins in their task. Everywhere Orochimaru looked, he was greeted with giant fox-like eyes staring at him from all directions. In the center, Naruto was staring at him. It was unnerving, even to the snake Sannin. What have I gotten myself into? More than you could possibly imagine. With his concentration lost, Anko was freed. Naruto, she weakly mumbled before falling unconscious. 1 minute Naruto was staring at Orochimaru with untold hatred. The next he was behind the Sannin with fresh blood on his sword. Because on the shock, Orochimaru barely noticed the gash on his shoulder. Or the fact that Naruto was holding his severed sword hand. You shouldn't have harmed my Harem, Naruto stated. You would have lived. Orochimaru couldn't believe Naruto had just severed his hand. A genin, even if a gifted one, had harmed him, a Sannin. How did? Again Naruto vanished and another slash appeared. Longer Naruto needed to pay for hurting Anko in the past. Orochimaru was in trouble. He had only one hand and he was under assault from an unfamiliar attack. He needed to end this. As much fun as this has been, I need to go, Orochimaru stated. You think you can just leave that easily? Naruto asked. Just like that? Of course I can, Orochimaru stated with confidence with just 6 little words. Well, you had better say them fast, Naruto stated, charging Orochimaru. The Sannin simply smirked. You are so like your mother. That stopped Naruto. It also stopped the Genjutsu that had filled the whole area. His mother? What would Orochimaru know about his mother? Even the old man, the Hokage, didn't know anything. Before Naruto could open his mouth, Orochimaru sunk into the ground. Naruto was at a loss. He wanted to go after the Sannin, but he knew he couldn't. He wouldn't leave his Harem in a vulnerable state. After sealing the Kusanagi, he gently shook her awake. Naruto Enko weakly called, "I'm a little thirsty." He knew what that meant. Walking to Enko, he uncovered his neck. Enko bite down and drank the blood greedily. Naruto wondered if healing blood was a blessing or a curse. Even as Enko moaned in ecstasy, he couldn't decide. "Naruto, what happened?" she asked after drinking his thirst. "Orochimaru got away," Naruto stated. "I'm sorry, I had to use." He couldn't finish. He had broken his promise to Enko. "It seemed she understood you used the fox, huh?" Enko asked. "So what?" This sent Naruto through a loop. "I promised that I wouldn't. I made promise not to use it unless unnecessary," she spoke. "I say an S-rank ninja definitely counts as necessary, don't you think?" Naruto couldn't be happier. Enko wasn't upset that he broke a promise to her. In fact, she seems to have approved of his actions. It was ruined by a vile spike in chakra. That just happened to be in the area of his teammates. "Darn it, go," she spoke. "I can take care of myself from here," she assured. "You, on the other hand, have an exam to finish." Naruto felt the area. There were Umbu on their way to this spot. Since he felt Yugao's chakra with them, he didn't mind leaving. Okay, with a kiss he was off. Snake. The summons needed a break. It had been summoned by its master for a simple task. Eat a child. What does it get? Knocked unconscious. Knocked awake to be a ride. And knocked unconscious when it wouldn't. Suddenly something fell on its head. "Hey," a familiar voice called. "I know we got off on the wrong foot or belly, but..." The snake wasn't listening. Nope, it was getting away from that insane, blonde human. Unfortunately, Naruto was still on its head. Whoa, Snake Team 7 Sasuke felt great. He had power, it was coming from the mark on his neck. He had been given power worthy of an Uchiha, worthy of his greatness. And he had the first prey to try it on. He even had an audience to use it in front of. There was Team 9 and 10 as well as Sakura. Before he could, a large snake burst into the clearing. It was thrashing around as if trying to shake something off. That something was a person. Naruto Uzumaki. "Whoa, snake, whoa," a familiar voice drew everyone's attention. "Come on, whoa." It was a ridiculous sight. When I say whoa, there was a loud impacting sound. I mean WHOA. Everyone's sweat dropped as they saw Naruto ride in on a snake before smashing it over the head with a sword sheath. The snake had enough, it dispelled. As the blonde stood back up and dusted himself off, he noticed his surrounding. "What?" he asked innocently. "Yosh." Lee shouted. "That was a wonderful display of youth." "Thanks, Lee." Naruto spoke. "What happened to you?" "I was defending Sakura-san," he answered. "It seems I must increase my flames of youth." "Well, Lee, you did good." Naruto spoke, reaching into his jacket. "Here's a turtle." It was a real turtle. He handed it to Lee. "Thank you." Naruto. Lee spoke through tears. "I will forever tree." "We were in the middle of something," one of the sound nin spoke, cutting Lee off. "If you don't mind leaving." "Sorry." Naruto spoke. "As much as I don't like them," he looked at them, "and I really don't like them," he added. "I need them to pass." Baka Sakura shouted, "Don't get in Sasuke-kun's way." It finally clicked to Team 10 who this stranger was. Naruto had only showed this form to Team 7 and 9. "Troublesome, that's Naruto?" Ino asked. "Why isn't he?" "I'm usually under a henge when you see me," Naruto answered. "Enough of this." Sasuke shouted. "I have a fight going on." He looked toward Naruto. "In fact, Naruto, I'll test my new power on you first." Charging forward, the Uchiha attempted to end the fight quickly. He was met with the end of Naruto's sheath to his stomach. The pain brought Sasuke to his knees. He gave the blonde his most hatred-filled glare. Sasuke-kun, Sakura and Ino shouted. "You're in for it now." Baka Ino spoke. "You attacked an ally, that's against the law." "If you would have paid attention," Ino pigged. Naruto snapped. "You would have saw him attack me first." "Well, it's still one down." The enemy spoke. "Now you." They attacked Naruto as one. He calmly took his stance. Dance of the poisoned snake. Naruto struck them with great speed and precision. They fell to the ground holding various parts of their body in pain. It was an attack he had invented himself. It was a quick attack that struck the enemy or enemies deep. The wound wasn't lethal, but if left unattended the wound would bleed out. It was born from the idea of a poisoned snake strike being feeble but deadly. "If you don't get attention for that you will die," Naruto warned. "It won't be fast so you have time, but you will just bleed to death if left unattended." All of the Konoha teams were shocked at Naruto, especially Team 10. This wasn't the blonde idiot they knew, this was a shinobi. A killer. Fine, the assumed leader spoke. Will leave. Leave your scroll, Naruto ordered. They did. Luckily for Naruto, it was the one they needed. Hey you, Baka Ino shouted, I want answers, so start. Ino, Naruto spoke, I have had enough of you and I could kill you now without any repercussion. Ino was frozen with fear. It was true, Naruto could kill her. During these exams death wasn't uncommon, it was actually expected. She looked around, it was obvious she would get no help. Uchiha, Haruno, Naruto called, let's go. Wait, you're hurt. Sakura didn't get to finish. Naruto grabbed by the neck and raised her off the ground. He gave her a hate-filled glare. Sakura, I am tired of your fangirl ways, he growled. Since this team formed you have been useless. It was true. If I have to keep dealing with you then I'll kill you myself, understand? Why yes, she choked out, terrified. Let's go. Chapter 12. Chunin Exams, Preliminary. Team 7 had arrived to the tower a few days earlier. They were greeted by Irika, who had given a lecture. Afterwards, Naruto had informed him and the Hokage of their encounter with Orochimaru. It was supposed to be kept secret, so naturally half of the village would know of it by the end of the day. Naruto had already reapplied his henge and left his team for better company. Now they were getting ready for the next phase. I'm sorry to tell you all this, but... The Hokage spoke but was cut off. Maybe I, should do, it. Hey, spoke. I am the, proctor for this exam, Fine, alright, there are two, many of you. Hey, spoke. So we are, going to have a, preliminary match. Does anyone want to quit now? Kabuto was the only one who did. Alright, everyone but the one fighting go to the balcony. Sasuke versus Yaoroi. You should give up. Sasuke spoke. You can't win against an Uchiha. We'll see about that. Yoroi stated. Yoroi made the first move. His hands began to glow with chakra. He charged the Uchiha and grabbed him. It took a while, but Sasuke found out what he was doing. And my chakra, he groaned. That's right, the Uchiha kicked Yoroi off as hard as he could. He drew a kunai and took a stance. A stance that angered Naruto. Dance of the poisoned snake. The blow to Yoroi was fast and ruthless. That attack wasn't meant to be lethal unless you let it bleed out. Sasuke spoke, but this is fire style, fireball jutsu. The genin was burnt to ashes. Winner, Sasuke. Uchiha Heiei spoke as Sasuke made his way to the balcony. He was stopped. Naruto stood in front of him with barely contained rage. Teen Naruto growled, you had no right. What are you going on about, Dobe? Sasuke asked with a smirk. Naruto was only angered further. He grabbed the Uchiha by the neck and lifted him off the ground. Naruto, unhand Sasuke. Kakashi ordered. Baka, you had. A glare from Naruto. Shut her up, Naruto. The Hokage called, please explain yourself. That technique Sasuke just half-assed was mine. Naruto spoke, I created it myself. Naruto, you shouldn't make up lies. Kakashi spoke, I can vouch for him. Enko spoke, he based it off the style of the poisonous snakes. It's fast and seems easy to ignore, but given time you die from blood loss like poison. You should feel honored. Sasuke spoke with arrogance. I found the attack to be worthy, so I made it my own. Naruto increased the pressure on his hold. Naruto stopped. The Hokage spoke, I'm sure you don't need to kill him. Fine, Naruto mumbled, releasing Sasuke, but I'll get even my way. That's fine, Hiruzen assured, but not now. Come on, Sasuke. Kakashi called, we need to deal with that little problem you have. Shino versus Zaku. Canon Shino wins. Kankuro versus Stretchy Guy. Canon Kankuro wins. Sakura versus Ayano. Canon Tai. It was an awful fight. Temari versus Tenten. Canon Temari wins. How was that, Naruto-kun? Temari asked, am I one of your Heims yet? That was brutal. Naruto spoke, and no. Temari simply pouted before walking away. She stopped and looked directly at Naruto. Mark my words, she stated, I will rub those whiskers. Naruchan. Enko called in a sickeningly sweet voice, is there something you want to tell me? Maybe about that sand girl. And no, Heim, he spoke, there is nothing between us. Good, she cheered, I was worried 4 women weren't enough for you. For Kankuro and Kiba, shouted the Hokage, and Kankuro experienced a terrible case, nose bleeding. Kakashi, who just returned, was having a perverted giggle attack. Hey, Nasuma sent unnoticed glares to the blonde. Kiba was shaking in untold rage. You're dating the proctor, my sister, and 2 others. Kiba shouted, if I fight you then you're dead. Shikamaru versus Kin. Canon Shikamaru wins. Naruto versus Kiba. Yes, Kiba shouted, now we can teach this dope a lesson. But I don't want to learn now, Naruto stated. Wah, shut up and listen, Kiba shouted, I'm all ear. Using henge, Naruto created several large ears in various places of his body. That's gross. You just don't understand the power of henge, Naruto spoke, which is surprising since your sensei is a Genjutsu specialist. Forget Genjutsu, Kiba shouted. Naruto Enko called, why not show him how well your henge is? Gladly Akamaru ran toward Naruto and bit him. Although Akamaru was a small dog, he had powerful bite. It didn't help that there was chakra mixed in his teeth. Good thing Naruto had a high pain tolerance. Ah, heal, heal, Naruto shouted as he jumped around on one leg. How would you like a case of 7-year-itch bone breath? Naruto hinged into a man-sized orange flea. You'll free the flea. He began chasing Akamaru across the arena. It was actually pretty funny and disgusting at the same time. It lasted until Kiba threw a powder substance into his face. Whatever it was, it caused a burning sensation to Naruto's face. What was that? Naruto asked in his human form. Flea powder. Kiba answered, when you live with dogs you learn to keep prepared. It was true. Now come on, I'll show you why I'm top dog around here. You know, Naruto spoke, tightening his blindfold. I've always been a cool cat. He hinged into a man-sized orange tomcat. But baby, look at me. How the cat ran toward Kiba. The feline delivered scratch after scratch at Kiba, who was barely able to dodge. Kiba knew he was in trouble. He needed some space. Akamaru, he called. The dogs ran behind that cat Naruto and did something insane. He bit Naruto's tail with a chakra-infused bite. This caused Naruto to jump straight to the ceiling in pain. It didn't help his image that Akamaru was barking at him while running in circles. Like a cat and dog. Now everyone was laughing at him. He began to shake in rage. Naruto didn't like to be laughed at. So he undid his blindfold. An unnatural chill silenced all of the laughing. The walls all became black and seemed to close in on everyone in the room. From the unnatural darkness, an untold number of giant, glowing fox-like eyes glared. The henge he was wearing hadn't been undone but altered. Now he was in his half-man half-cubey form. The same one he had taken on the bridge, right before slaughtering the bandits. His eyes glared into Kiba and Akamaru with great rage. He gave a mighty roar and with great speed he stood before the two. Using one tail he grabbed Akamaru and began squeezing. 5 others latched onto Kiba. 1 on each limb and 1 on his neck. The tails on Kiba's limbs began pulling in opposite directions. The one on his neck pulled as well as squeezed. Who's laughing now? He growled. Who's laughing now? Naruto Kurenai called. Stop this instant. Naruto released both Kiba and Akamaru, who were struggling to breath. He also undid the illusion he had on the area and himself. He couldn't meet Kurenai's gaze. For him, disappointing any of his Harem was too great a shame. It didn't help that he had put his blindfold back on. Oh, I'm not mad at you, she assured, but how will Hana feel if you hurt Kiba too badly? Sensei? Kiba couldn't believe what he was hearing. You're one of them too, aren't you? That's why you always smell like foxes. You're dating Naruto as well. Well, she didn't like the gazes she was getting. Naruto finished the match. She couldn't meet the gaze Hinata was giving her. I will not lose to this dope, Kiba shouted. He actually thinks he's worthy of my sister, he continued. I am tired of them keeping the clan up all night. When he visits her, this brought out some blushes and nosebleeds, and mom only encourages it so she can get some grand pups. Kiba Ino called. Check your kunai pouch. What? Why? If you want the baka to really suffer, she stated, show him what's in it. Fine. Kiba did want him to hurt. When he reached into his pocket, he pulled out a few pictures. As he examined them, he couldn't help but smirk. These would give him what he wanted, with interest. Hey, Baka Ino called, you should take a look at them as well. Kiba tossed the pictures into the air and let them scatter. Everyone saw the pictures. Kiba Kurenai growled, you fool, Naruto-kun. As Naruto examined them, he felt a cold hand grab his heart. On each picture was a different one of his Harems. They each were with different man. Enko with Iruka Asuma and Kurenai Yugao and Hey, well, dope. Kiba spoke. Anything to say? Everyone watched as the blonde calmly walked towards Kiba. Naruto delivered a devastating punch to Kiba's face. The blow most obviously broke his nose, but that wasn't all. The force behind it sent Kiba sailing into the wall across the arena. On impact, Kiba became lodged into the wall and created a crater. Naruto wasn't done. The blonde began to deliver punch after punch to Kiba's face. Each one digging Kiba further into the wall. Each one drawing more and more blood from the dog user. Kiba was beginning to fall unconscious. Naruto wasn't going to have that. He punched Kiba in the gut. The blow forced him awake for the continued punishment. It also caused him to double over and spit out both blood and vomit. He weakly looked at Naruto and regretted it. What he saw wasn't the blonde he ridiculed. What he saw was a pair of crimson red eyes that made him afraid. Naruto glared into Kiba's eyes with such intensity that he nearly fainted again. As Kiba stared, he caught a glimpse of Naruto's fox glare technique. Kiba gave a horrible scream. What Naruto showed him was so full of his anger that it was maddening. Naruto delivered one final punch to Kiba, silencing him. This time he could fall unconscious. No one could believe what they saw, especially coming from Naruto. That was one of the most savage beating they had seen. It wasn't even a real fight, or even just a beating. It was punishment. And Naruto Enko called, "Is it true?" He asked them. They wanted to say no. But they couldn't lie, not to Naruto. Yes, Enko and Kurenai answered. He looked to the cat-masked Umbu. She nodded her head. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. "Why did you lead me on?" "Don't feel bad," Asuma spoke. "You can at least say you went all the way with the Ice Queens," he continued, "and on the first date on the same night. You chose him over me," he asked Kurenai. She wouldn't meet his blindfolded gaze. "Well, you are just, a kid," Hayate spoke. "And you're half dead," Naruto stated, getting a glare from Hayate. "What's your point?" "Listen, you little." Hayate just barely stopped himself. "Say it," Naruto ordered. "I want you to say it." Hayate didn't know what came over him. But he said it. "Demon," he shouted. "You demon, you broke the third's law," Naruto stated, undoing the cloth, punishable by death. Hayate Umbu, dressed Yugao, called. "Don't look into his eyes." Too late. Shin no Ippu, stage 2. This stage was the one Naruto thought was the cruelest. In an average battle he wouldn't use it. Now he just didn't care. He wanted this fool to suffer. It literally froze a person's lungs with fear. Hayate couldn't breathe. He was literally suffocating from fear. He fell to the ground gasping for the air. His sick lungs were denied. He couldn't turn his terrified gaze from Naruto. It became obvious to everyone why Hayate couldn't breathe. Naruto's henge ended, and everyone saw what he really looked like. No longer was he the orange-wearing buffoon. Now he was a blood-red-wearing shinobi. "It hurts, doesn't it?" Naruto asked. "To feel those diseased lungs of your being denied air," he spoke, "to feel them burn with each passing second." Begging for an end, he then lowered his voice one way or another. Everyone was shocked at what they saw. They couldn't believe the cruelty Naruto was showing. "Naruto, please stop," Yugo begged her. Please fell on deaf ears as he watched him squirm. Asuma decided to step in and end it. "Stand down, kid," he warned, "or I'll have to take you down." Naruto wasn't listening. "Look, I know how you feel, kid, but you can't do this to a fellow shinobi." "You know how I feel?" Naruto asked. "You know nothing on how I feel," Naruto stated. "I despise you both so intensely that I can't tell if my vision is blurry from my broken heart or my unforgiving rage." Everyone could feel both in his voice. "Once I'm done with Hayate, I will gut you," with an honest to Kami smile on my face. "Let's just end this," Asuma stated. Naruto raised his sword so that it reflected his eyes. Shin no Ippu, stage 3. He felt the power begin to surge through him. No Enko and Kurenai shouted they needed to act if they were to save their men. String bean binding illusion. Kurenai used this to restrict his movements. Striking shadow snakes. Enko used this to separate Naruto from his sword. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Yugo split into 3 clones and performed the dance. There were 3 blades pointed to his vital areas by Yugao. They stopped short of piercing the skin. "Himes." He couldn't believe what was happening. "Don't call us that." Yugo snapped. "How could you do that?" Enko asked. "After you promised me." "I'm so ashamed of you." Naruto Kurenai stated this was really happening. His himes were turning on him, for another man each. Naruto Hiruzen called in an empty tone. "He is my son." They watched as the Naruto before them faded away. He reappeared in the balcony with a blank look on his face. "Look at you two, Jounin, wasted and gasping for air." He spoke to Asuma and Hayate. "But you don't go yet. When your very lives are broken around you," he lowered his voice, "then you have my permission to die, so for now stand." Hayate and Asuma were finally regaining their breaths. "I was a fool to think you 3 were any different in the end," he stated to his himes. Once again Naruto faded out of existence. This time he didn't reappear in the room. "You just had to teach him, of all people, the camouflage jutsu?" Kakashi asked. "We'll be lucky to ever find him." When Naruto didn't want to be found, he wouldn't be. All of his years living in the village made sure he learned to be stealthy. If possible, this would only make it harder. "Hey, what's that?" Ino asked, pointing to the arena. It was a scroll. It was obvious who left it. That was why no one wanted to open it, especially his former himes. "Fine," Hiruzen stated. "I'll open it." "Shadow clone jutsu." "What? Don't any of you look at me like that," he ordered. "This is Naruto. He wasn't really going near that thing." The clone opened it and revealed a letter. Dear Harem, I want you all to know how much I love you. I know that I don't deserve any of you, but I will do my best to make you happy. Without any of you I would be nothing. It is you four that keep me whole. You four keep me from giving in to my furry tenant. Without any of you, I would have no purpose. If I were to lose you, I would just give up. If any of you were to die, then I would die right alongside you. I would happily follow any of you to hell if it made you happy. There was a seal on the one designated to Enko. When she saw what was in it, her heart nearly stopped. It was the severed hand of the one she hated the most. It was the severed hand of Orochimaru. I know I couldn't beat him, but I will. I will free you from that curse he left you. Even if it costs me my life. The snake mistress was in tears. All of them were in tears. They had broken the hearts of someone who had loved them. Naruto, who had never known love, just stated that would happily die for any of them. Naruto never lied. P.S. If you aren't one of my Harems and are reading this, then, as a tribute to Enko, dodge. The Hokage's clone was greeted to a face full of kunai. At the end of each kunai was a high-powered explosive note that detonated on contact. That was a little extreme. Many thought, good thing I used my clone the Hokage, though. What have we done? They asked themselves. You've just done something not even the villager could. Hiruzen spoke. You just broke Naruto's spirit, something many thought impossible. What happens now? That's the main question, isn't it? Hiruzen asked, and what will he do now? That was the real question. Naruto was a Genjutsu genius. He had near limitless chakra and stamina to match. There was also the giant demon sealed in his stomach. Chapter 13. Confrontations. Naruto was hurt. Nothing had ever hurt him this badly before. Not in his 13 years as a resident of Konoha. Not as a civilian and not as a shinobi. He had been beaten. Stabbed. Hunted. Starved. Burned. Suffocated. Crushed. Poisoned. He has been physically broken in a year more times than he could count. These things he could handle easily. He could just laugh them off. They all healed after a good night's sleep. But none of those things could compare to the pain he was feeling. The pain in his heart. They ones he had cared for among all others had betrayed him. They had led him on. Given him the hope that he could have happiness. Yeah, right. He wanted to get to his land. He couldn't focus enough to just shunch in there. So he was walking through the village hoping that he could get there before he lost control. Unfortunately, he didn't have his henge on. He wasn't going to wear it any longer. He was tired of hiding. This didn't go unnoticed by the civilian populace. Hey, is that the demon brat? I think it is. It looks like he decided to show his true colors. Maybe we should teach him a lesson. Naruto had enough of this. He wouldn't be pushed around by the likes of these weaklings. He turned to the one speaking. Well, go ahead, Naruto stated. Try and punish the demon brat. He drew his sword, but he'll fight you back. The civilians eyed him worriedly. Normally Naruto would just ignore them or give them a little scare. Not this time. We aren't afraid of you, demon, one of the braver civilians shouted. Naruto began to chuckle. It was an empty and hollow sound. The way he felt on the inside. Yes, you are. I can smell it on you, Naruto spoke, taking a big in a whiff, because you're nothing but weak civilians. He smiled darkly. I already had enough skill to kill you all before I even graduated. He raised his voice. Now come on, who wants to be the first? None of the civilians made a move. They couldn't even look at him. They were all terrified of what was standing before them. It wasn't the boy they've tried to break and kill countless times. It was someone who would break them. Naruto turned to leave. He wasn't going to let them see him when he lost control. While his back was turned, one of the braver and more foolish civilians decided to act. He grabbed a large rock that sat by his leg. With great aim he tossed it to the back of Naruto's head. The rock made contact and fell off. Thanks to all of the abuse he could barely feel it. Not that he would have, it was a welcome change to the pain in his heart. Naruto turned and glared at his attacker. So one of you cowards has a bit of courage, huh? He asked. I'll have to fix that. Do your worst, the civilian spoke. I am a proud citizen of the village hidden in the leaves. It seems that you have leaf envy. Naruto stated cruelly. Do you know what has leaves? Tea trees, he answered. Yes, trees, he answered. How about it? Do you want to be a tree? He lowered his blindfold and glared the civilian in the eyes. Do you want to feel your bones become brittle like wood? He asked to feel your very blood turn to sap? Naruto glared into the man's eyes and his eyes began to glow with hatred. The man felt himself become stiff. His skin became tough with bark and his bones felt as brittle as the branch on a tree. The very blood in his body became thick and slowed as if trapped in his small veins. The civilian felt as his mind began to fade. That would have been too easy and too light of a punishment. Naruto halted the process to study his work. He would allow the man to keep his mind. That way he would endure all of the punishment. The unnamed civilian was stuck in his pose. Over half of the civilian's body was wood. His eyes were looking around wildly for any kind of help. Help that he wouldn't be getting from the other civilians. They didn't want to share his fate. Time to finish this. He stood back and opened his coat. A mass of blurs began to jump from its depths. The sky began to fill with dozens upon dozens of birds. Woodpeckers. They made their way to the man tree. They flew onto him and began pecking, digging their powerful beaks into various parts of his wooden hide. He couldn't scream as they began removing his eyes from his head. He could only endure as they broke into him and began making a nests in his body. But he wouldn't die. The woodpeckers glared at the remaining civilians, daring one of them to come forward. Naruto had left the minute the woodpeckers arrived. He was finally at his destination, his home. He finally lost control. His tears began to fall down his cheeks fast. There was no longer any way he could hold them back. He wouldn't have any way, not here. This was his place of peace. Surrounded by his family. The foxes didn't know what was wrong with Naruto. They just knew that he was hurt and need comforting. Thanks guys, he spoke, earning a growl, and girls, this earned a yip. I knew I could always count on you all. He could. Hospital. Naruto was sure that the Chunin exams were over. He no longer felt chakra being tossed around from the tower. He did feel a few of his friends end up in the hospital. He decided to check on them. Unfortunately, the doctors and receptionist were being difficult. Just tell me where Rock Lee is, Naruto shouted. Usually he wouldn't need to ask. Unfortunately, Lee was a special case. Without any chakra, Naruto couldn't tell if he was going to find Lee or enter an empty room. He was tempted to use his clones to find the room for him. He's resting and doesn't need company from your kind, she hissed, so leave before I call Umbu to escort you out. Do you have tree envy? Naruto asked. The receptionist paled. Many had heard about what had happened in the village earlier that day and didn't want the same. She didn't believe it at first, but now. Naruto, stop harassing the receptionist, a lazy voice spoke. You're making a lot of noise. Kakashi, who am I up again in the finales? Naruto asked, and what makes you think you passed? Kakashi asked, amused eyes still in his book. Because I beat Kiba. Understatement of the year. Naruto thought I thrashed him. You're fighting Niji Hyuga in the first round. Alright, Kakashi. I know what you're going to say, Kakashi interrupted, but I won't be able to train you for the finale. I wasn't going to ask for training. Not from you, Naruto growled. I just want Lee's room number since he pointed to the receptionist, is giving me a hard time. Naruto turned to leave. Wait, Naruto, Kakashi called. Sasuke is up against Gaara and... Naruto didn't care about the Uchiha. So I need some things from you, he continued. Your sword and any other dances you've made, they'll be the surprised since they're original. What? Naruto growled. You actually expect me to hand over my weapon and hard work? Don't worry, Kakashi spoke, you'll get the sword back. Sasuke just needs it to cast a few illusions until he wins. And what about me? I can't wait to hear this. What do I do while you're training the Uchiha? Well, since you're up against Niji, you should quit. What? Well, without you sword you have no Genjutsu, Kakashi reasoned. Not that they would work against a Hyuga. No, Naruto answered evenly. Those Genjutsu are mine, not the sword, he explained. As for the dances, forget it. I spent countless nights training those skills. I'm not just going to hand them over. Fine, if you want to be difficult, he spoke. As your superior, I order you to hand them over. The room went deathly cold. The sudden change caused Kakashi to look away from his book. He saw the source of the change. A pissed Naruto Uzumaki. Listen to me, Hatake, Naruto whispered. If you ever try something like this again, well, here's a sample. Fox glare. Kakashi was in a small and nearly empty room. All that he could see was his sensei, his former team, and a copy of his favorite book. Next to a kunai. Hello, Kakashi, they spoke as one. Sensei. Don't speak, they snapped. It's time for you. Punishment. He though, what do they mean? What's happening? He asked. We are going to read a copy of your book to you, they answered. How is that punishment? It's the yaoi version, they answered, and the only way out is to kill yourself. That's He didn't know what that was. If you do it then you gain our respect and our forgiveness, they spoke, but you'll be shamed like your father as a coward. And if I don't? We kill Sasuke and leave Sakura to you. They picked up the book you have until we reach the end to decide. Real world. Everyone who saw what had happened couldn't believe it. 1 minute Naruto was talking to Kakashi, the next, Kakashi passed out. Many senseis, who were here to check up on their students, saw the whole thing. Even his former Harems had saw the ordeal but were too afraid to step in. The shock only increased as he gave a cruel but hollow laugh. I will come back to check on my friends. He spoke coldly. Tell the others what you saw. He leaned and whispered, or I'll come for you. Do you hear me? He asked. I'm talking pain, razor blades and lemon juice. The receptionist nodded frantically. Naruto vanished in a Shunshin Inuzuka compound. Naruto felt like kicking himself. He had actually forgotten about Hana during the ordeal. She was the only one not in any of those pictures he saw. He decided to sneak around to her window. It would be unlikely if most of the clan didn't hate him more for hurting Kiba. Hana, he called Inuheim. Her window opened and he humped right to it, never entering. He looked to his Inuheim and saw that she was upset. So did the triplets who hung around her feet. It didn't take a genius to figure out what had her angry. Why, she asked through tears, why did you do it? Do what? Please don't mean. Don't play dumb, she shouted, getting the triplets riled further. Why did you hurt Kiba so badly? It was a match and I lost control, he admitted, but I know, I don't want to hear it, she stated. You're nothing but a monster. Monster. No, Haim, he begged, don't say that. She was his last time. The last person important to him. Get out, she ordered. When he didn't, she put on the claw he got for her. I said leave, Haim. He took a step in toward her. Don't touch me, she screamed. In her anger she lashed one of the claws out toward him. The blades cut him deep across the neck, drawing a mass of blood. The triplets saw this as a signal and attacked Naruto. One bit into an arm and one into a leg. The last one tackled him, causing all four of them to fall out of the window. Haim, it was the last thing he gurgled before he dispersed into a column of black petals. The look of betrayal would be forever burned into Hana's mind. Naruto, she cried, I am sorry, but it was too late. He was gone. Home. That was it, he was done. He had nothing left. He had no Haims and he definitely had no love for the village. So you are just giving up? Don't worry, I'll still free you. That's not what I asked. What else is there for me? I have nothing left. What did you have before meeting them? Nothing but my Fox family. Exactly, it's just like starting over. Starting over? Yes, starting over without restraint. Restraint? Yes, no more of your Haims holding you back. Holding me back? What are you, a parrot? A parrot? He couldn't resist. The point is, you won't have to keep yourself restrained for them, relying on simple parlor tricks. The fox growled. Remember what happened in the forest? How could I forget? The only reason I started helping again was because you found your resolve. We went over this already, QB. Yes, we did, and when you gave in, but only partially, don't you start that again. QB snapped. Sorry. You were so focused on saving Enko that you still held yourself back. I'm sorry. Chapter 14. Newcomer. Naruto was training as hard as he could. Why? Because he finally had the free moment. He had a little less than a month until the Chunin exam finals. His first match was with Niji Hyuga. He wasn't worried, in fact he was looking forward to putting that Hyuga in his place. The only real competition he had was Gaara. The rest were just there. That didn't mean he would take them lightly. He would give it his all in every fight. Unfortunately, he couldn't train as often as he would have liked. Why? The problem was with the Uchiha and Hatake. Naruto often sensed them around trying to take his techniques. He tried going to the Hokage, but it wasn't enough. Without actual evidence, it would be his word against theirs. Even the Hokage couldn't punish people without evidence. So Naruto decided to do things his way. That included using his foxes as guards. They may not be very numerous, but they were very skilled guards. They, however, weren't his only problem. He sensed two more strangers watching him. Samui. Samui was one of the, if not the most attractive woman in Kumo. She was both a fear and respected kunoichi. Her business-like personality and skill had saw to that. When given a mission, she went through with it without question. Even one such as this. Engage Naruto Uzumaki aka the Mirage Fox and see if the rumors are true. If they are, then seduce and become impregnated with his child. If not, then if possible, obtain sword and return to Kumo. Naruto Uzumaki, recent graduate and former dobe of his class. Fought Zabuza Momochi twice and caused the slaughtered near 200 bandits. Turned Momochi into a Konoha shinobi and liberated Wave Country. Severed the hand of Orochimaru of the Sannin and forced him to flee. Konoha really needed to keep an eye on their secrets, that kind of information draw attention. You never know when there might be a spy listening in. Now if only she could find him. Naruto. Naruto was tired of hiding from the strangers. He would meet one of them head-on and he would do it at his land. It's better to have the advantage of home turf, in case things got messy. Now all he had to do was sit back and wait for the arrival. Home. I'm looking for Naruto Uzumaki, she spoke. Are you him? I am, he answered evenly, and this is private property. Samui was impressed. Most of the time men would be staring at her chest or turn into stuttering. Not Naruto, he was relaxed but also guarded. Must be the blindfolds. I am Samui, Jounin of Kumo. I hear that you are pretty good with a sword, she spoke. I wish to test that. Fine, he spoke. It would be good training. As he drew his sword she stopped him. I would like for you to use this sword. She handed him a well-forged katana. If that's okay, so that's your game, he thought. Find out if it is the sword or me. Fine, I have to end this as quickly as possible. Naruto wasn't foolish enough to think he could beat a Jounin in a head-on fight. Even with his trickery he was highly outmatched. Begin, she charged him with speed worthy of her rank. As she entered striking distance she did so without hesitation. Invert. Samui was shocked. Naruto floated behind her, upside down. He had his sword pointed to her back ready to strike. She knew he had a clear shot to at least one lethal area. As you can see, the skill is mine own, he stated, shocking her even further. Not the sword, I see, she whispered. What gave me away? The minute you stated who you were and where you were from, he answered. Why else would a foreign Jounin be interested in me? I was careless. Now what do you really want, he asked. Be honest. I'm a censor, he explained. If I find that you're lying, then this sword goes in. Samui mentally cursed. Censors were a pain to deal with in the shinobi world. You couldn't lie to one of them and you definitely couldn't hide from one. I was ordered to seduce and bear your child, she answered. I see, let's begin. She began undressing. Well, wait. Stop, he shouted, dropping the Genjutsu. Samui paused and looked around. Is this area not satisfactory? No, it's not that. She cut him off. Am I not satisfactory? No, you very beautiful. He paused, thinking of what to say next. Samui couldn't contain her blush. Back in Kumo she has been called both hot and sexy, but never beautiful. She had to admit, it was a nice change. I don't get it, why was he turning her down? Most men would have jumped at the chance for her. Maybe. I have a brother. If. She stopped when she saw him shudder. Never mind, you are very attractive, he stated. I just don't like being used. I see. She was surprised by the amount of hate in his voice. What should I do now? What could she do? If she left now, then she would be a laughingstock in Kumo. A kunoichi that couldn't even seduce a teenage boy. Losing to him was no problem. He's proven to have real skill, but not being able to seduce him. Samui felt like laughing at herself. It would be easier to think if her back wasn't killing her. She couldn't keep in the groans of ache out of her voice. Why was I cursed with such a large chest? It was a question she asked herself often. Are you okay? He asked. My back is killing me, she admitted. I'm not surprised, he admitted. With a chest like that, who wouldn't be? Yeah. Well, so he's like the rest, eyeing my chest. Want a massage? He asked, earning a glare. I've been told that I'm good at them. Fine, she answered, after some though. If he tried anything, then it could help her complete her seduction mission. He took his jacket off and laid it on the groan. She removed her shirt, with Naruto looking away, and laid on it. Once he began, she felt as if she were in heaven. She would let out a moan of pleasure near constantly if he needed her back. You are good, she admitted. What kind of oil are you using? No oil, he stated. My blood. Please explain, she spoke, tensing under his palms. My blood had healing properties. He didn't elaborate any further. That's cool. She began to relax under his kneading hands. It wasn't long before she began to feel drowsy. After a while longer she fell asleep under Naruto's working hands. Naruto was very surprised of the Kumo Jounin. For a foreign shinobi, Jounin no less, to fall asleep in another's hands, her back must have been aching her for a while. Such a vulnerable state left them as easy targets for anyone. As she slept, Naruto heard a wonderful sound. It was a gentle music that called him for him to follow. He did so. Who am I to deny music? Once he reached the source, he was on guard. The music came from a woman playing a flute. That wasn't why he was on guard. No, he was on guard for two other reasons. The first reason he was on guard was because she was the second stranger following him. The second, the music she was playing was laced with Genjutsu. Tayuya. Tayuya was a feared kunoichi of sound. Her Genjutsu hidden skills has made her one of the Sound 4, Orochimaru's personal guards. She had been given a mission by Orochimaru himself. Seduce Naruto and bear his child or face punishment. Failure for Orochimaru was not taken lightly. Unlike most who thought it was the sword, he knew Naruto's ability came from another source, the Kyuubi. Hello, Naruto greeted. This is private property. I'm sorry, the redhead spoke. I just wanted a peaceful place to play well, if it's okay. He asked. He liked her music. Can I hear some more? You dumbass, she thought, now I can seduce this shithead and get knocked up. Not looking forward to these 9 months. Well, Orochimaru said he had plenty of stamina, so it shouldn't be too bad. She began to play her most alluring music. Under the tune was a lightly laced seduction genjutsu. As the moments passed, she noticed no change in the blonde. He just stood there calmly. She decided to subtly add a little more chakra to the song as she played. Nothing. What's wrong with this shithead? He should be a mindless. Her thoughts were cut short as the song ended. That was amazing, he complimented. Now tell me who you are and what he ordered. I want the truth or your head comes off. She felt 2 sharp blades press against her neck. Looking around, she saw 2 solid clones with their weapons drawn on her. When the fuck did he make those? Isn't it obvious, Uzumaki? A familiar asked. She's here for the same reason as me. Hello, Samui, Naruto greeted. I see you enjoyed your nap. Who the hell is Melon Tits over there? Tayuya asked herself. Yes, I slept very well, Samui stated. I was surprised to find that I was. She paused. Untouched, unchained? Naruto offered an all of the above. She admitted. I told you that I was only going to. Hey shithead, I'm still here, Tayuya shouted. And who the hell is Melon Tits over there? Why did she say I was here for the same reason? Just as I stated, Samui answered, ignoring the name. You're here to seduce Naruto Uzumaki, right? What if I am? She challenged. The clones pressed their blades closer to her neck. Then you should give up, Naruto answered. As I stated to Samui-chan here, that earned a blush from said Chen. I don't like to be used. Well, listen shithead, she ordered. I don't want to fail my leader, so drop your pants. No, hey, Melon Tits, what do you say to a team up? Tayuya called. He can't stop both of us and we get what we want. Well, she seemed to be thinking it over. Maybe you two would like to hear my proposition, Naruto stated. I'm sure both sides would be happy. Samui and Tayuya shared a look before nodding. We're listening. Naruto reached into his coat and pulled out 2 scrolls. Ones he had prepared in advance for this very occasion. They tried to open it, but he stopped them. Didn't want people to know. I want you to hand this to your leader, Naruto stated to Samui. If they agree, then I want you to personally return to me. He looked to Tayuya. This one is for you. You have these already, shithead? Tayuya asked in disbelief. How? I knew you two have been watching me for a while. He answered. You shouldn't try to sneak up on a censor. They mentally, Samui did at least, cursed. Of course you don't sneak up when a censor is involved. They were trackers, it's what they're made for. Fine, Samui agreed. I'll have the answer as soon as possible. Same here, shithead, Tayuya answered. They both left. If this kid was as good as they say, then he was offering something good. Hot springs. Naruto had sent the kunoichi off a few days ago. He was expecting their leader's response pretty soon. With what they're being offered, I expect an answer soon. After a hard day's training, he decided to relax. There was no reason he should overwork himself, plus he earned this time off. Now if only someone would stop that perverted giggling. Wait a sec, that's coming from the female side. With great skill and grace, Naruto jumped out of the water. He made his way to the female side and followed the unfamiliar chakra. What he found was an old man staring through a hole. Hey pervert, stop peeking on those women. As the words left his mouth, it entered the man's ears. The man stood and looked at Naruto as if insulted. Did you just call me a pervert? He asked. Yes, I am no mere pervert, he stated. I am Jiraiya. Naruto's mind began to fade as some crazy intro went on. I am a super pervert. Thank you, Naruto stated. Oh, have you read my book? Jiraiya asked. Are you thanking me for its wonderful details? No, Naruto answered. I'm thanking you for digging yourself into a grave. He undid his blindfold, but for your honesty I'll reward you. Jiraiya made the mistake of looking Naruto in the eye. Naruto motioned for Jiraiya to turn around. The Toad Sannin did and was greeted by a gracious sight. It was a horde of beautiful women dressed in nothing but towels. They were making their way to him with a certain sway in their hips. Jiraiya-sama, they called, we love you, do you love us? Yes, he screamed, I love all of you, would any of why? They silenced him by putting a finger to his lip. Have you heard of tough love? One asked, what's that? The one who silenced him earlier answered. By headbutting him in the nose, there wasn't much force in it, just the surprise of attractive women headbutting him. Then it happened, their beautiful faces were gone. In their place were horrible reptilian-like scales and blank, pus-filled eye sockets. As soon as he saw it they vanished, as if they were never there. One of the women punched in the face. This blow had force behind it, it knocked the Sannin to the ground. Why, he asked, sometimes love hurts Jiraiya-sama, they answered, and we love you a lot. They all began to grab weapons from nowhere and hold them menacingly. But Jiraiya was cut off by a blow to the head. The women continued to beat the Sannin with the skill and strength of a pack of kunoichi. He begged for mercy, but there was none for him. You have left me no choice, Jiraiya shouted, summoning jutsu. Under him a giant toad appeared. It wasn't too large, around the size of a large human. A frog won't save you from our love, Jiraiya-sama, they purred. Frog. The toad shouted in indignation, I'll show you a frog. The toad gave them a mighty blow with a water jutsu. The blast was enough for them to begin to dissolve as if they were melting. Such a waste, Jiraiya whispered as he dispelled the toad. They were such inspirations, we forgive you, a feminine voice spoke. Jiraiya looked and saw the women as they began to reform. Their melted skin began to smoke and bubble. In mere seconds there became living flames. That's a new meaning to the word hot. How? He asked. We forgive you because we love you, they answered, and we love you to death. They each tackled the Sannin as one. With the unbalanced weight and fear of burning to death, the Sannin fell over. He fell into the water of the empty hot spring, hoping to douse the flames. The water merely caught aflame as well. Naruto watched as he burned. Save me, he begged. Why? Naruto asked. Hello, Naru. Oh my Kami. Haku couldn't believe the sight. Bet you forgot her. Hello, Haku-chan, Naruto greeted. Where have you been? We have to help him. She prepared to freeze the water. No, Naruto shouted. Let him cook. Why? She asked, afraid of the answer. Because I'm have frog legs for dinner. Answer. The Raikage-sama wants to know if you can honestly pull your end off. Samui stated. Same with me, shithead. Tayuya stated. I can. But only if they agree. Naruto spoke. Then it's a deal. Samui answered. You'd better not be lying, Uzumaki. I put my word in for you. Let's us begin. Naruto stated. Begin what? Samui asked. You've lost your chance for a piece of ass. Tayuya stated. No, Naruto waved her off. My training. Why the hell would we train you? Tayuya asked. Well, I need to win to hold up my end of the bargain, don't I? Naruto asked. Since this is a way around your failed seduction, they flinched at the shame. You too need to ensure that I win. That answers her. Tayuya stated. Why would I train you? So that you can brag about it. He tried. He had no real reason for Tayuya. I bet you think you're so damn clever. Tayuya growled. Don't you, shithead? Do we have a deal? He asked, still calm. Fine, Samui answered. Oh, what the hell? Tayuya spoke. I can torture you for a while? Don't you mean train? I know what I fucking said. Oh boy, gifts. Naruto was enjoying a nice little break from training. At least until his senseis find him. I think those women are trying to kill me. Hello, Uzumaki-san, a new voice greeted. How are you? Naruto jumped away and drew his sword, on high alert. He looked to see a bandaged old man. Whoever he was, he wasn't to be taken lightly. He was able to, not only sneak up on Naruto, but get so close. As Naruto pulsed his sensor ability, he realized something. I still can't sense him, but I sense a dozen others. How had he missed that? Each were well hidden and each were at least Jounin level with the chakra they had. Who are you? Naruto asked. What do you want? I have an offer for you, he stated. Your name? Naruto repeated. Danzo, he answered. I'm listening. I would like to train you, he stated, for the finals. What is the catch? There is almost always a catch. No catch at all, he answered. Even if Naruto couldn't sense him, which he still couldn't, he would have said no. He knew when he was being lied to. It's something that served him well over the years. No deal. There is always a catch, Naruto answered. Very well. Let's say this meeting never happened. He placed a scroll on the floor. And this as insurance. I'm sure you'd enjoy it. He gave Naruto a calculating look. If you can use it. Danzo gave the ground a simple tap with his cane. The hidden shinobi were dispersing like roaches when the lights are turned on. After a moment they were gone, and so was Danzo. He had a clone check the scroll for traps. He may have been curious, but he was even more cautious. Living in Konoha had burned that into his memory. What he read was enough to interest Kyubi. This will be the perfect payback for that thieving Uchiha. He was in a real good mood, only one thing could make it better. Hey shithead, we've been looking for you, Tayuya stated. Naruto wasn't surprised. Samui-sensei, Tayuya-sensei, he called. How would you two like to get some dinner with me, you know, as a date? Chapter 15. The Chunin Exams Finale. It was finally the day of the finals. Many people of influence such as daimyos and other leader were attending. Even the Raikage showed, but he was here for a different purpose. Greeting Raikage-sama, Kazekage-sama. The Hokage greeted. I hope your trip was eventful. It was no problem, Hokage-sama. The Kazekage spoke. I'm sure you would have made the trip in your younger days. It wasn't too bad, the Raikage answered. I had to listen to my foolish brother's rap. Hey bro, you know I need to be me, he rapped. Awfully, after all I'm the rapping killer. That was awful, were the thoughts of the Kages. The Raikage side. Go practice rapping in an abandoned training field. I hear that the Uchiha will be fighting my son, the Kazekage spoke. I'm sure that it will be an interesting match. This put both the other Kages on edge. The Kazekage never called his children sons or daughter. I'm more interested in the match between Uzumaki and the Hyuga, Raikage spoke, and whether he holds up to his end of the bargain or not. All great candidates, the Hokage agreed, but we can't forget the other contestants. The proctor began speaking. He used a jutsu that amplified his voice over the crowd. We will begin the first match. Wait, where is Hayate? Naruto asked. Hospital. Sweet. Naruto versus Neji. The two combatants stood ready. Naruto no longer in his disguise and Neji with an arrogant smirk. The real difference was that Naruto now wielded 3 swords. The first was his original sword, the second the Kusanagi, and the third, a mystery sword. You should surrender, Neji spoke. You are fated to lose. Naruto said nothing, he merely stood there with a smile on his face. Neji didn't know this, but it was the same smile he had when he was told to go all out. Small and calm, holding back the true madness. Naruto drew his sword, the blade caused a glint to cross Neji's eyes. His Byakugan activated and glaring into the blonde. He then resheathed the sword and never even took a stance. Naruto walked forward, causing Neji to take a cautious step back. Never dropping his smile, Naruto opened his jacket and stood still. The meaning was obvious, he was giving Neji a free shot. Come on Hyuga, Naruto taunted. If you're destined to win, then end it here and now. I always thought you were a fool, Neji spoke, but it seems you at least understand your fate. 8 trigrams, 64 palms, 2 palm, 4 palm, 8 palm, 16 palm, 32 palm, 64 palm. Each blow was to the intended target, not one missed their mark. However, Neji added a little change, each palm was aimed for a lethal spot such as the heart. Naruto fell to the ground unmoving. I told you fate could not be changed, Neji gloated, turning to leave. It's over, Proctor, he won't be getting up. Impressive, Hyuga, Naruto complimented. Even with my pain tolerance that hurt, how did you survive that? Neji asked. I know each blow hit its mark. They did, he answered. As to how I survived, well, I don't die easily, many could vouch for that. Well, come, I shall show you why your efforts are in vain, Neji taunted, activating his bloodline. My Byakugan shall see through any of your Genjutsu. Well then, come. Naruto stood still with his smile still in place. He would allow Neji the next move. Don't mock me, Uzumaki, Neji snapped. Neji charged toward Naruto, letting his anger get the better of him. As he got within range, he threw a hand out, intent on hitting a lethal chakra point. Naruto simply sidestepped, allowing the arm to sail past his face. Naruto placed his arm inside Neji's guard and reached for his prize. With a quick motion, he completed his move. They jumped apart. Naruto stood back with a smile in place. This one was different, it allowed a bit of the madness to show. Neji stood back in confusion, unsure of Naruto's move. Naruto held up his prize. He placed it over his face so that Neji could get a good look at it. It was his Byakugan. It was his eye. I see you, Neji, Naruto spoke. Do you see me? The pain finally made itself noticed. Neji fell to the ground in pain, it was unbearable. He only thrashed around screaming, unable to even activate his Byakugan. Winner of no. Neji shouted, I am fated to win. He forced himself to stand and took the Hyuga family stance. Naruto pulled out a large vial, it was full of a strange-looking dark red liquid. He placed the eye inside. Neji charged forward again, this time his guard up. He aimed for the chakra point at Naruto's heart. Naruto's free hand jumped out, it held Neji's just inches away from his heart. From nowhere, several Naruto clones dropped their illusion. They charged toward Neji, sword drawn for the kill. The Hyuga merely smirked. You lose. Uzumaki Niji stated. Heavenly Spin. It was as its name entitled. Niji began to rotate while gathering and expelling a massive amount of chakra in every direction. This caused a visible sphere of rotating chakra to appear. It knocked away all of the Narutos in opposite directions. Deception Slice. The user feigns being attacked. Then using replacement, or in Naruto's case Shunshin, they then surprise the enemy with an attack from behind. Niji felt himself fall off angle and excruciating pain in his legs. He looked down and saw a sight that filled him with horror. Naruto had severed both of Niji's legs. Niji knew he was at a loss, knew he couldn't win. He opened his mouth to surrender but nothing came out. Realization hit him like a ton of bricks. Naruto wouldn't let him. Naruto was calmly walking toward Niji, smile still in place. Niji tried to crawl away with his hand. He didn't get far before Naruto placed a foot on his back holding him still. With careful aim Naruto placed his sword into Niji's back. The blade dug through the Hyuga, missing all vital organs. It continued through until the blade was mostly in the ground through Niji. Naruto grabbed a handful of Niji's hair and yanked the Hyuga's head back. Slowly, deliberately savoring the moment, Naruto reached for the remaining eye. He dug into the socket as Niji thrashed, careful not to damage the eye. He had his prize. Now everyone watched as the Hyuga cried out in despair. Trapped in an eternal cage, a cage of darkness. Kill me, Niji ordered. Without my eyes, I'm nothing. No, Naruto spoke. That would be too easy. Naruto gave 3 high-pitched whistles and then a low pitch. Niji felt pain shoot through his body. His bones began to rearrange themselves as their size shrunk. As fast as it came, the pain vanished. The most surprising part was that he could see. But all he saw was the darkness, and Naruto. He looked down and saw his reflection. He was a bird. He had become a dove. A caged dove. This bird cage in your mind is where you'll stay. Naruto spoke, forever trapped in the jail you believed you've lived. As Naruto faded away, his voice remained. It asked the same question over and over again. In his bird form, Niji couldn't answer, not that he had one. Where is your fate now? Balcony. That was completely cruel, Kurenai stated. He always was a brutal fighter, Enko stated. Not that she. Kurenai stated. The whistling. What are you talking about, sensei? Hiba asked. What else did the dobe do? Hiba, it is unwise to insult the one who nearly killed you, Shino stated, causing Kiba to drop his head in shame. It had taken hours in critical condition to keep Kiba from dying. Well, what is the baka doing? Ino asked, earning a glare from the former Harems. Naruto used the ability to cast Genjutsu through a simple whistle. Kurenai explained. He's been in charge this whole fight. Yugao, no longer in Umbu attire, stated. I thought Genjutsu users always needed a medium. Kiba spoke. Where did he learn something on that level? Who cares what the baka can do? Sakura. Sasuke-kun is much better. I told shithead not to do it, a voice stated. But does he listen? Fuck no, it continued. Now I have to listen to the pink-haired bitch. Tayuya, did you really think Naruto would listen? A second voice asked. This is Naruto we're talking about. Wait, you know we trained Naruto? Anko asked. How? You're foreigners. Well, first we tried to fuck him, Tayuya answered, smirking at the glares. Then he made a deal with us. What kind of deal? Classified. Samui stated. You're using him, Anko growled. No less than you did, Samui stated. This caused them to drop their heads in shame. We actually made a deal with him, Tayuya stated. He knows the deal and gets something out of it. Why is he so? Kurenai was searching for the right words. Brutal. That's all him, Tayuya admitted. I guess he has some pent-up aggression for some reason. She gave them a smirk. We've already fixed his other pent-up problem. The former Harems were angered by this, but they didn't know why. It's over, we have our men, they thought, minus Hana. She was the only one that was single before and after. Whatever you taught him won't matter, Sakura stated, breaking the spell. Sasuke will crush him if the baka makes it to Sasuke-kun. Watch. Arena. I won, Proctor. Naruto called. Right, he agreed. Winner Naruto Uzumaki. The audience came for blood and that's what they got. The foreigners were cheering at a great, albeit quick, match. They applauded as if it were any match. The citizens of Konoha saw it completely different. They saw it as the demon brat brutally beating and blinding a respected clan member. They made their opinion known, dwarfing the cheers of the visitors. They booed at Naruto, cursing him, saying he should be disqualified. They even threw stuff at him in hopes of injuring him from the angle. Naruto simply stood there. The smile that he kept the entire fight was long gone. Now he had on a deep scowl in unhidden anger. The shadow under his foot began to grow, silencing the crowd. It stretched until it nearly reached the end of the arena. It began to take form as its light shade darkened, becoming black. Once the form settled, they were horrified at it. It was a giant nine-tailed fox. A pair of large crimson eyes snapped open in the shadow. The shadow fox eyed them, seemingly focused on the former attackers. A large pair of white fangs made themselves known in the smile. It was a smile that promised untold pain to all that saw. Roar! The shadow let out a tremendous roar. The power behind it was enough to actually shake the entire stadium. They had the feeling that it wasn't part of his Genjutsu skills. The citizens who lived in the village were even more terrified with the noise. It was the same as the one from 13 years ago, one that they would never forget. The sound of Kyuubi. The shadow retreated back into Naruto. He made his exit in silence. All of the foreigner were just confused at the action of both Naruto and the villagers. None of the villager were brave enough to make a sound. The proctor broke the silence. Next match begins now. Kage booth. Well, I'll be the Raikage thought he actually got them. I'm sorry Naruto, the Hokage thought you shouldn't have to deal with this soon. Sasuke-kun. Balcony. Naruto made his way up to the balcony. He saw his former Heims arguing with his new ones. For the last time, I have no feelings for Naruto. Kurenai shouted. None of us do. We paid our debt. Enko growled. We moved on. Hey shithead. Tayuya called. Nice match, but why drag it out? The former Heims turned to the one she called. They paled at who they saw, Naruto. It was obvious that he had heard them yelling. They lowered their heads in shame, unable to meet his blindfolded gaze. He had on the same smile from the beginning of the fight. It was unnerving to all who saw it, even his new Heims. It seemed that their words hadn't affected him in the slightest. Well, there was some bad blood between me and the Hyuga, Naruto answered, not missing a beat. We've settled it. He walked forward, not even acknowledging his former Heims. Leaning in, he shared a gentle kiss with Samui and a rougher one with Tayuya. For some reason, this gripped at his former Heims' hearts. Mandobe Kiba stated, you move fast. That was a completely unnecessary match. Tenten stated, teary-eyed, you didn't need to go that far. You're right Tenten, I didn't, Naruto stated, but I wanted to. This sent a shiver down their spines, a shiver of fear. For once, Naruto welcomed it from the former Heims. It's been cool Naruto-kun, Samui stated, but now it's time for business. Samui stepped forward and handed Naruto a scroll. Naruto simply took it and handed her a scroll and the eyes. Hey Baka, a pink harpy shouted, why did you trade? None of your business Haruno, Naruto answered, actually it's all of ours. Yugo stated, you just traded a village asset, even if it is useless now. Kurenai added, I am within my rights as a shinobi. Naruto explained, I defeated Niji and salvaged what I found useful. He continued, I'm also able to keep them operational thanks to my blood. He was right. A shinobi is able to personally keep anything they take from a defeated opponent. The rules never specified what kind of fight, minus a spar. It was a rule created by the Uchiha. They also knew Naruto's healing blood was powerful. It could heal almost anything from physical to biological. Healing useless eyes weren't that far off on the list. Use it well, Samui ordered. I will, Naruto promised, after I make some Naruto modifications. He disappeared in a shunshin. A Naruto modification? Many were really terrified. Kage booth. Surely we can give them a little more time. The Kazekage tried. It is an important match. Nonsense. The Raikage spoke. A shinobi not on time isn't a shinobi. I agree. The Hokage spoke. Proctor. Since Sasuke Uchiha isn't here, he began. Gaara wins by default. This was greeted by a round of boos and jeers. These are Kage orders. The proctor spoke. Take it up with them. Silence. That's right. Respect the Kages. Kankuro versus Shino. Canon. Shikamaru versus Temari. Canon. Naruto versus Gaara. Gaara entered the arena using a sand shunshin as their match began. He would finally fight someone who could make him feel alive. As soon as he arrived, come down Uzumaki. Gaara called, face me, or are you afraid? The sky over the arena was filled with a red mist and the sound of laughter could be heard. It began to shape itself into a fiery-like form many Konoha adults knew. The head of the Kyuubi in all its glory. You dare challenge me? Naruto's voice asked, filling the area but not being seen. You dare to challenge fear? I am feared. Gaara spoke, looking for Naruto. True, Naruto agreed, but there is a difference between our methods. And that it? Gaara asked. The fox gave a sadistic smirk before opening its mouth. From inside, Naruto walked out onto the tongue and stood with all attention on him. Presentation. The fox closed its mouth and began to dissolve, Naruto along with it. The mist began to snake itself around toward the ground. It finally finished reforming into Naruto. Both contestants ready, the proctor asked, earning a nod. Beg a small puff of smoke filled the arena, a shunshin. Inside of it stood Kakashi and Sasuke, who wore a new outfit and a sword. Yo, are we late? Kakashi asked. Yes, the proctor shouted. Sasuke has been disqualified. What, I'm an Uchiha. Sasuke stated. I can't be disqualified. Well, you were. Naruto stated. I need to begin my match, so you made it past Niji. Sasuke stated. You know what, maybe I should pay your Heims a visit, unless you give me your spot. Naruto let loose a lot of killer intent. The action filled his former Heims with an unknown hope and his new ones with jealousy. What he said next changed that, like a knife to the heart. You stay away from Samui and Tayuya. Naruto spoke. Who? I'm talking about those so-called mistresses. Sasuke gasped. Oh, them. Naruto stopped. The intent. You can have them. Naruto. Kakashi spoke. I don't think you are ready for a promotion. Maybe you show Fox glare. Kakashi was on a nice beach. He no longer had a care in the world, not as a shinobi or a civilian. He had lived a long and happy life, he even made a legacy for himself. Now he could finally relax. He looked out onto the beach to watch the sunset. There were two figures running at each other, each at a different end of the beach. It was Guy and Lee. They weren't wearing their usual green spandex. Instead, they were wearing green lingerie. They embraced in a horrible hug. Real world. Kakashi fell to the ground in despair. I love the long-lasting effect of mental scars, he thought. He turned to Sasuke, who backed away. I demand his place, Sasuke shouted, or else. Sleep what? Naruto asked innocently. He'll wake up in a minute to see me fight with power he'll never possess, and my finale just begin. The proctor grabbed the two downed Sharingan users and ran. Naruto backed up a few feet and drew his first sword. The fox won, and with great force he shoved it into the ground. He left it. Naruto decided to run forward. Gaara's sand formed three snake-like pillars and attacked, charging Naruto. He simply swerved his way through. Naruto faded it out and appeared in front of Gaara, the Kusanagi drawn. He attempted to cut Gaara but was blocked by the sand. The sand pushed Naruto back, never relenting. As he was pushed further, he lost his footing and fell over. Off guard, the sand began to cover itself around Naruto, head to toe. Sand coffin. The sand made a coffin-like prison around Naruto. Sand burial. The sand collapsed on itself. The force behind it crushed the blonde inside. The sound was very wet and echoed in the audience's ears. Balcony. Naruto, his former Heims screamed, serves him right. Sakura and Ino stated, you bitches need to be quiet. Tayuya stated, shithead isn't dead, you should have more faith. Samui stated, watch, it's about to become real cool. Fight. Is that it? Gaara asked. I expected a challenge and you'll get it. Naruto stated. Gaara was in shock. How is he still alive? He asked himself. Naruto was indeed alive. He was in fact standing right by the clump of sand that was supposed to be holding him. How? That'd be telling. Naruto began to run in circles around Gaara. The copies of the blonde began to form and began to run in both directions around Gaara as well. Gaara eyed each one, trying to tell them apart. Each Naruto struck from a different angle. Unfortunately, the sand got in his way. It protected Gaara from the real Naruto while the others passed through harmlessly. So he doesn't control that defense. Naruto, though good to know. Naruto put a bit of distance between himself and Gaara. He began leveling the Kusanagi with Gaara. What are you doing, Uzumaki? Gaara asked. I think it's time. The blade extended at untold strength and speed to wake the demon. The blade had pierced Gaara's sand defense, and Gaara. What is this? Is this? Gaara went silent in disbelief. Blood, my blood. Gaara became encased in sand. Balcony. No way. Temari whispered. That blade. Yugao whispered. Fight. Naruto leveled the sword into a new stance. He had been waiting for this match, his opponent. He was going to fight the demon. The sand cocoon shattered. He had a new form. It looked similar to Naruto's form. It seemed that the sand had melded itself into Gaara's flesh. His face was half demonic raccoon-like and his right arm was a giant claw. Not impressed, Naruto spoke. I can do that too. Naruto ran forward and attempted to impale Gaara. His arm was caught in several ropes of sand. They began to squeeze the blonde's arm before crushing and tearing it off. Naruto fell back in shock and pain. Even with his pain tolerance, he had a limit. Having an arm torn off makes one hit the limit fast. The sand then snaked itself around Naruto's leg. With a powerful yank, Naruto was slammed into the ground. The process repeated itself over and over before tossing Naruto. Gaara ended it by swarming the blonde in sand. Sand burial. Naruto appeared by the sand unharmed but exhausted. When was the last time I was this tired? How are you alive? Gaara asked, never waiting for an answer. He sent several spiked tendrils of sand toward Naruto. Naruto made no attempt to move as they impaled him and carried his body off. He spoke, with a bloody smile, the name of the technique. Izanagi. Naruto appeared next to the traveling sand where he once stood. He was unharmed, but seemed even more exhausted than before. I should have known I'd need a demon to fight a demon. Naruto laughed. He raised his blindfold and looked into his sword. He eyed his reflection. Shin no Ippu, stage 3. He was fear, and fear feared nothing. A massive fox-like head formed over him. It gave the citizens attending the battle a large smile. The fear in the area grew as the fox head entered Naruto. Naruto felt the power enter him. The power he had gathered thought the fear he'd gathered. He was encased in a slight red coat of chakra. It was like a second skin to him, more free. Gaara felt the oppressive power. It was truly overwhelming. This was what he wanted. He would finally have his challenge. 1 minute the blonde was across the field, the next he was beside Gaara. This high-speed movement caused Gaara to jump back a few feet, but not fast enough. The blonde raised his sword and impaled Gaara in the head. The one-tailed container felt his heart stop. Then it was over. They were back in the arena as if it never happened. Naruto drew his mystery sword. He gave it a mighty swing and unleashed a massive wave of wind. Even with his sand defense he knew he had to dodge. Luckily he did, or it would have tore Gaara to pieces. Naruto came running from the side of and took another swing at him. This time he unleashed a wave of water. It hit Gaara dead on, knocking him off balance, but did little to no damage. Naruto appeared above Gaara and raised his sword. Instead of aiming for Gaara, he impaled the sword into the wet ground. A stream of lightning was unleashed. It shocked both of them, but with Naruto's endurance, the wet Gaara, he ended up taking most of the damage. As they stumbled apart, Gaara's sand began acting on its own. It crawled up Naruto's left leg, encasing it while doing the same with his right arm. The sand around his arm began to squeeze until his arm was completely shattered. With a mighty heave, the useless limb was ripped from his very body. The blood and roar of pain was enhanced by the silence in the audience. It seemed most of Konoha was pleased that the demon brat was getting what he deserved. The select few that didn't felt like saving Naruto. The sand around his leg began to tug at Naruto. Instead of trying to dismember him, it began to drag him. He was pulled through the ground and tossed into the arena wall. He was then lifted into the air, high above the arena. With the barest of gestures from Gaara, the sand brought Naruto down, fast and hard. The scene was blocked by the sand and dust. From the dust various elements shot out. They ranged from fire, lighting and air. Gaara raised his sand claw and let it take the blunt of the attacks. They pushed Gaara back but weren't powerful enough to break his sand guard. The smoke finally cleared and there stood Naruto in full health, as if he hadn't just been dismembered. The sand raised itself and began to take form. It was like a snake in body but with the one tail's upper body. It dived toward Naruto like a snake taking down easy prey. Naruto raised the Kusanagi and the blade extended a great length. With a mighty swing he cut the sand snake raccoon down the middle. Using his second sword he gave a swing scattering the sand with air. This was a bad idea. The scattered sand began to spin around Naruto as if a tornado. It came to a sudden halt as the sand began to come together around Naruto. There was a visible shake of the now large sand dune as the blonde was crushed inside. What's next, Uzumaki? What will you throw at me next? Gaara called in mad excitement. Throw it all at me, give me your best. Naruto stood on top of the sand-made mound. His smile was full of even greater madness than Gaara. They stared at each other for a moment in anticipation. All right, Gaara wanted everything, he would get it. Naruto's second sword began to vibrate because of the lighting chakra. The lighting wasn't being released in a wave like expected. This time Naruto was going to let it build. He would let it build to its limit, then he would allow it to release. He laughed. This was going to be a completely suicidal move. Just the way he liked it. Balcony. That shithead wouldn't really do it. Tayuya was visibly shaking. Would he? What? Sasuke asked. What is he going to do? Tell Sasuke-kun. Two fangirls ordered. Now he would. Samui stated. Fight. Naruto ran toward Gaara at full speed. He was going to end this fight with his next move. His blade was vibrating so fast it was barely visible. His entire body began to glow from the built-up lighting. If it wasn't for his extra coating of chakra, he was sure he'd be dead. Even the insane Gaara knew that this technique was dangerous. He raised his sand and welded it into an uncontrolled ground beneath Naruto. Because of this, Naruto began to lose his balance. Only one thing to do: he threw the blade. Is he insane? Were the thoughts that filled the air. He is. The blade didn't even need to hit the ground. Nearly a second after he released the blade, all of the energy freed itself. Gaara did the only thing he could. Using the sand spread beneath their feet, he formed a wall of spike-like rods. All of the energy flew straight to the sand in powerful current. Gaara had to actually strain to keep control. It was a good thing sand was not only a conductor but an insulator as well. Too bad he was in a fight with Naruto. "Hello, Gaara," a dark voice called, scaring even him. Naruto stood there. His sword recharged, but this time he was using fire. It had reached the point that the flames were white-hot. It was a decoy. Gaara realized. "No," he shouted, "I won't let you end my existence." Gaara commanded the electrically charged sand toward Naruto. It created a temporary wall between the two, and I mean temporary. Naruto literally burst through the sand. He hit Gaara across his deformed face with the flat side of the Kusanagi sword. The force of the blow knocked Gaara a few feet into the air. As Gaara fell, time seemed to actually slow down for him. What he saw was Naruto pointing his heated sword in his face. Burn and burn, he did. The flames erupted with such power it nearly knocked Naruto over. The flames took less than a second to completely consume Gaara and even his sand. When the flames finally subsided, all that was left was glass and Gaara. He was trapped in his own so-called ultimate defense, frozen in the sand melded into his skin. The only part not in glass was his nose to breath. Only his eyes were able to move, and they showed the fear and pain, mostly fear, he was experiencing. Naruto made his way toward the terrified boy. Fox glare. "Sleep well, Gaara, you deserve it." Deep inside the One-Tails container's mind, the One-Tails roared. He was trapped inside an hourglass, forever shifting. After a minute it was obvious he wouldn't be able to free himself. Winner Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto stared at the crowd who watched him in disbelief. Their shock and fear was amazing. It was finally enough. Naruto walked calmly to his sword in long determined strides. He grabbed it and gave a flashy swing. It was time for the grand finale. He looked to the crowd and spoke. "I challenge the laws of nature and reason." By summoning the power of fear herself, he raised the sword and impaled into the ground. QB exist. All of his power began to disappear. The ground began to shake and the center of the arena split open. There was a mighty roar, one that struck fear in all but Naruto. It was not of hate but of joy, the joy of finally being free. Phantom-like flames erupted like a tower from the splitting earth. The phantom flames began to crawl toward Naruto and spin around him. They merged and began to take form. Out of the flames stepped a woman. She had crimson red hair and eyes that matched with a piercing gaze. She stood at a tall 6 feet with a powerful and imposing, but beautiful body. Behind her were 9 swirling tails, 9 fox tails. Naruto spoke to the new arrival. His voice was low but it echoed throughout the audience. His words frightened all who heard him utter them. "Welcome to reality." QB Naruto laughed. "Welcome to reality, my Harem." Chapter 16. Invasion. Orochimaru, like everyone else, looked in fear and disbelief. How is this possible? The QB should be sealed or the brat dies. He couldn't fathom how Naruto freed the demon. Naruto looked to the false Kage. The smile on the blonde's face made even Orochimaru's blood run cold. It was obvious the blonde knew who he was under the disguise. "I have to do it now." He made the signal. "Where is Tayuya? Kimimaro will have to sub for her." With great swiftness he attacked the Raikage. Being caught off guard, he was able to knock him out of the balcony. It wouldn't kill him, but it would serve its purpose. "Now it's just me and Sarutobi." There was a large explosion as a massive Genjutsu filled the arena. Ninjas from both the Sound to Sand village began to enter. The civilian audience fell asleep while the shinobi engaged in life and death battles. The invasion had begun. "Arena. Should we get involved?" Naruto asked. "I haven't stretched in a long time." QB stated. "It'll be good to gather my own fear again." As she spoke these words, Naruto's Heims, former that is, entered the arena beside him. With various weapons his former Heims attacked the fox demon. With a simple flick of her tails, Kyubi knocked the mistresses down. She glared at them with contempt. They felt themselves freeze up under her hate-filled gaze. They turned to Naruto, their eyes pleading him for help. He gazed back with a smile. Naruto, what were you thinking? Hana asked. This is the Kyubi, why did you free her? Why would I leave one of my Heims imprisoned? He asked. I could never do such a thing. Why your H-Heim Kurenai stuttered. How, why? She has always been there, Naruto stated. Since the beginning, I've always had her. And you always will. Kyubi spoke before leaning into a kiss. Now, time for some fun shadow fox hunt. From beneath her feet her shadow began to act. Her shadow began to shape itself into a human-like fox and crawl around under their feet. It began to spread out in 100 different directions in a web-like fashion. Once they reached a target they rose from the ground, in front of them as silently as a thief. Raising a shadowy claw the fox figures took a swipe at the shinobi in front of them. Their claws passed harmlessly through. That did not mean there was no damage done. Each figure that felt the cold touch of the shadow froze in mid-battle. Many were cut down, but others were left alone out of worry of a trap. They began to convulse before falling to the ground. Dead. Okay, that was truly amazing, Naruto complimented. I hope you'll teach me that. Oh, I'll teach it to you, Kyubi promised, and so much more. There was a large explosion from inside the barrier on the Kage booth. The force of it drew the attention of everyone present. I guess we should help, Naruto stated. I'll help the old man, you can have the enemy armies. Kyubi seemed delighted at that. Let the fear rise, she spoke. Let the blood shed and paint the ground red. She vanished into thin air and screams began to grow. Naruto, Yugo called. You can't. She stopped. When he glared he walked past them, never bothering to give them a second glance. This isn't the Naruto we know and... No, focus. They watched him go toward the Kage level battle. They followed after to see the upcoming confrontation. Kage booth. Naruto arrived to see the Umbu squad stand outside and watch the continued clash. Useless Naruto though, and he was right. They seemed to be making no effort to help their village leader in his battle. Why aren't you helping? Naruto asked. We can't get through the barrier, brat. One Umbu answered. Excuses, Naruto stated. Walking to the barrier, Naruto raised the Kusanagi blade and swung at the barrier. He used every ounce of force he could muster to cut through the barrier. It seemed like he was sawing through it. After forming an entrance big enough he jumped through. The Umbu squad still made no effort to enter after him to help the Hokage. Once inside the barrier resealed itself, trapping everyone either in or out. The mistresses arrived in time to see this. Hey old man, Naruto called. Hey Orochimaru. Naruto Sarutobi called. Get out of here. It's too sorry old man, but no can do, Naruto stated. You're on your last leg, against Orochimaru, the first and second Hokage. He looked at his leader. It's time for you to sit down, I'll handle it from here. Narrow he stopped from a look from Naruto. Old man, Naruto spoke. Either let me do this or I'll make it rain paperwork for 500 moon cycles. Good luck, and be careful, Sarutobi called before whispering. You're going to need it. He pulled out his pipe and his special smoking brand. Hello old friend, I've missed you. Your brat will need more than luck, Orochimaru spoke. I was talking to you, Orochimaru, brat. Orochimaru growled before calming. You know, I actually planned for you. He began smirking. You were a fool to come in here, now you're trapped. Oh really? This ought to be good. I see the other way around, Naruto smirked. I'm not trapped with you, you're all trapped in here with me. Orochimaru snapped his fingers and his plan was put into motion. The Sound Four left their places at the barrier, each leaving a clone in their former place. They took a spot next to their leader. The revived Kages took a position on either side of the blonde, each waiting for an order. It was given. The members of the Sound Four began to activate their curse marks. They entered the first stage. Naruto took a step back aback as Kimimaro charged forward, two bone blades in hand. Naruto swiftly dodged each attack to the face by inches. To the enemy it felt like miles. This continued until Jirobo stepped behind Naruto and punched the blonde from behind. Or at least he tried to. The blonde disappeared on contact with the fist. He reappeared beside them. We won't give you a chance to use that technique, Sakon spoke, and you're doomed without it. The second Hokage ran toward Naruto, already weaving hand signs. From the spike in chakra, Naruto knew it would be a powerful technique. Water style, water shock wave. A spiraling vortex of water formed from thin air. It exploded into a type of water wave. Naruto jumped back, but to his surprise the water followed him. So this is the power of the second? He drew his elemental sword to defend. That was when he felt the spike in chakra from his side. From his both sides a pillar of wood rose from the ground and attacked him. He tried to move only to be constricted, the wood was wrapped around his feet. The collided with the water jutsu, the blonde was in the center of the collision. Izanagi Naruto stood unharmed. The smile from before plastered on his face. Spider-sticking spit Kidomaru spit out a long web-like substance toward Naruto. The blonde raised Kusanagi to defend himself as the web came in contact with the blade. Kidomaru pulled the web with all 6 of his arms hoping to remove the weapon. Unfortunately he didn't know Naruto trained with Guy in strength. Naruto was able to keep the sword even as Kidomaru struggled against him. Do not release him, Kimimaro ordered. Dance of the Clematis. Flower. The bones from Kimimaro's arm began to extend and enclose, forming a type of lance. He charged Naruto in hopes of impaling him. Naruto raised the still restricted Kusanagi and blocked the lance at its very point. It's good to have an indestructible sword. They held in a power struggle, neither giving or gaining. Jirobo jumped into the air and focused his chakra into a punch. He was coming down with the force of a boulder. From both sides Sakon and Yukon, now separate, charged him as well. Naruto drew his elemental sword and took a swing toward the ground. He unleashed pure lighting with no focus or any kind of control. It ran free in all directions, forcing all of the attacking shinobi back. He even freed the Kusanagi from the web. He looked at his reflection in his sword. No, Orochimaru shouted, stop him, Shin no Ippu. Stage 3. Too late. The technique was started. Infinite darkness technique. Naruto felt his vision go completely black. It seemed his was the only one because he could still hear the footstep of the others. From the chakra he felt, it was the second Hokage attacking. He raised both his swords. Thank you, Zabuza. Shadow clone jutsu. 8 clones appeared. 8. They spoke for all to hear. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidney, heart. He named which will I go for. Once the second Hokage was in range, the Naruto clones struck. Their blades each hit one of the lethal point they named with great accuracy. They wouldn't kill the dead, but it was enough to stop him and break the Genjutsu. They each drew a high-powered explosive tag. They placed them on various parts of the second Hokage and ignited them. With great strength he kicked the time bomb toward the enemies. Dodge. Unfortunately, they decided to listen to him. The second Hokage went off in a glorious explosion. Outside, how did he do that? Kurenai asked. The second Hokage's skill in Genjutsu is second only to his water techniques. We never taught him to fight on that level, even we can't fight on that level. That was the silent killing technique Yugao stated. Momochi must have taught him. What else can he do? Hannah asked. How powerful has he become? Without our help? You're going to see, a voice behind them spoke. They turned to see Samui, Tayuya, Zabuza, and the Kyuubi. Inside, Spider sticking spit instead of his sword. Kidomaru aimed for Naruto. The blonde sheathed his elemental sword, freeing his hand, and sidestepped and grabbed the strands of web. With a powerful tug he pulled Kidomaru toward him. Raising his blade he made 2 cuts, the first separating the web from Kidomaru. The second cut to the spider-like man across the chest before kicking him away. With the web in hand he swung it like a lasso, catching the second Hokage and pulled him forward. He cut the restrained water user, stunning him before tossing his into a web-covered bundle. He felt the chakra spike behind him. Slightly leaning to the side he avoided the bone lance from Kimimaro. Because of the momentum, he continued to charge. This exposed his back to Naruto, who cut him deeply. Orochimaru watched in disbelief. How could this child have such power? He no longer even has his demon. The Sannin could take it no more. He entered the fight as well. 10,000 snakes waved from Orochimaru's mouth. A massive amount of snakes crawled. He no longer had the Kusanagi to add, but his snakes were still venomous. Naruto raised his elemental sword and swung. The fire he released wasn't as hot as he had hoped, but the widespread range made up for it. The snakes were ashes before they covered half the distance to him. Orochimaru stared Naruto in the eyes. That was a mistake he would soon regret. Shin no Ippu, Stage 2. The snake Sannin froze in place, unable to breathe. He knew what Naruto was saying. Don't interfere and enjoy the show. No choice, he began to break the illusion on his lungs. The split Yukon ran toward the distracted blonde, forgetting he was a censor. Naruto turned to him before he got too close. The blonde raised his sword to strike the twin down. Wood style, silent strangle jutsu. Naruto was caught off guard as the wood surrounded him. Nearly every part of his body but one arm was restricted. Unfortunately, that hand held Kusanagi. If he let go he would be unarmed. He was trapped. Demon parasite jutsu. Naruto turned to Yukon. The twin grabbed the blonde and began to meld into him. What is this? Naruto asked. Like it? Yukon asked. It's my bloodline. He bragged. It allows me to destroy your body on a cellular level. Heh, is that all? Naruto asked. Yukon felt pain erupt in his melded body. It was like something was tearing him apart. Just like his technique. What did you do? My body has the ability to destroy all foreign ailments such as parasites. Naruto stated. You are being torn apart on a cellular level. He smirked. You are literally being given a taste of your own medicine. Yukon did the smart thing. It was also the only thing he could do. He cancelled his jutsu and separated himself from Naruto. Sakon, seeing his brother in pain, ran to his side. Naruto, using Kusanagi, cut through the wood. It was pretty easy with an unbreakable sword. Sakon charged the now free Naruto with Yukon trailing him. Naruto took a stance to attack them once they were in range. They were finally in range when Naruto spoke. Invert. Sakon heard the blonde speak. He knew the technique. Turning on a dime, he impaled the kunai into his victim. However, it wasn't Naruto. The blonde was actually standing to his side, not that Sakon cared. It was Yukon. His brother. Bier brother. Yukon gasped in betrayal. Why? Sakon screamed. It was scream of pain, not pain of flesh. He would have relished in that. What he felt was a pain of the heart. In his blind anger he charged Naruto only to be cut down as well. Well, Orochimaru, Naruto spoke. What else do you have? Orochimaru was at a complete loss against Naruto. His best shinobi were being tossed around like rag dolls while the Kages were indisposed, and he couldn't interfere. The Kyuubi was free, decimating his army. Sarutobi was resting, soon to be back on his toes. Time for my escape plan, he thought. Enough. Orochimaru called. We are leaving. But Orochimaru-sama, Kadamaru called. We can beat him. All we have to do is enter our second. You fool, Orochimaru shouted. Look and see. He pointed to Naruto. The brat hasn't even left that very spot since this battle began. Do you think I'll just let you go? Naruto asked. Those 6 words won't work this time. No, Orochimaru spoke. You'll let us all go for this. He pulled out a scroll with a spiral crest on it. When the third Hokage saw the scroll, he began to choke on his pipe. Now Naruto was curious on the scroll. What is that? Naruto asked. If the old man acts like that from a scroll, this Naruto, he motioned, is the sword style used by your very own mother. Naruto felt everything stop. The sword style of his mother? Give it to me. Naruto demanded. Only on one condition. Orochimaru spoke. You do not pursue us. He could escape the other ninja, but even I can't escape a censor without difficulty. What do you say? Why shouldn't I kill you all and take it? Naruto asked. Revenge, he answered simply. Against Enko for her betrayal to you. He smirked. Imagine, my death is the one thing she wants most in this world. They turned to see her watching them outside the barrier. Take that from her and you'll have your payback tenfold. Don't listen to him, Naruto, Sarutobi screamed. He'll say anything to save his own skin. Or are you trying to save your own sensei? Orochimaru asked. Where do you think I got this scroll, Naruto? Naruto didn't answer. It was here, guarded by the Hokage. He spat. He kept it from you this whole time. Don't least did you have it? Naruto asked coldly. He knew he couldn't lie. Not to a censor. I did. He admitted. I was going to give it to you, but it was missing. When were you going to give it? Orochimaru asked. You could have given it to him at any time. I only stole it earlier this week. He stated. I know you can tell when someone is lying to you. I am not. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen, the professor, couldn't come up with an excuse. Everything Orochimaru had said was completely true. Naru, set the scroll down and leave. Naruto ordered. You have my word, I will not pursue. No. Enko shouted from outside the barrier. Don't do this, Naruto, kill him, she begged. You promised me you would kill him. Are you going back on your word? She froze on the level of killing intent directed toward her. It was coming from Naruto, who never dropped his smile. I promised my Hebeheim that I would kill him, Naruto stated. You are no longer my Heim, so I have no need to kill him for you. He spat. I will however kill him. Eventually he turned to the snake. Sannin, it will be at a later date. He turned to Enko. It won't be for you. It'll just be so it can be said I don't go back on my word. Enko couldn't believe the words she was hearing. Naruto was going to let Orochimaru, the one who made her life miserable, go. Naruto, she growled. I hate you. She knew that would have killed the old Naruto. Okay, he stated, confused. Is that supposed to hurt me? The feeling's mutual. But it wouldn't faze this one. Orochimaru set the scroll on the ground and moved back a great distance. He had the clones to disperse and the barriers drop. Just like that, the snake Sannin and his team were off. The Umbu chased after them, but they were stopped by Kuramaru's web. They finally do something and they fail. He actually wasn't all that surprised. We have one of the sound shinobi, Hana stated, pointing to Tayuya right here. She's not the enemy. Naruto stated, she's on my side. She's a sound shinobi, which means she works for Orochimaru. Enko growled, she is the enemy. Enko and the Umbu moved in to surround Tayuya in an attempt to capture her. They were blocked by Samui, Zabuza, and Kyubi. Stand down, Momochi, and Umbu-dressed Yuga ordered, and this isn't your problem, Kumonin. Actually, it will be in 4, 3, 2, 1. Naruto spoke. Hello, Raikage-sama. Hello, kid. The Raikage spoke. That was amazing. Thank you, Raikage-sama. And Umbu called, please order you shinobi to stand down. Samui? What are you doing? He asked. This is something I'd expect from Kurai. I'm sorry, Raikage-sama. Samui bowed. I was just protecting my fiancé's fiancé. Okay, Wait, what? He exclaimed, more than asked. When did you get a fiancé? Who is he? Naruto. Samui called, I'd like my fiancé by my side. Naruto walked over and stood between her and Tayuya. Both Samui and Tayuya leaned down and kissed him on the cheek. Kyubi walked over and got a kiss in as well. Every shinobi was thrown through a loop. You're getting married? Hana asked sadly. The mistresses of Konoha felt as if their heart had been torn out and stabbed. They had never thought Naruto would move on so fast. Not after all they had been through. Has he moved on already? Has he forgotten us? Samui the Raikage shouted, how could you marry him? That wasn't the order. Order? The Hokage asked. I'll explain, old man. Naruto spoke. These two were ordered to seduce me and bear my children. That earned some glares. I gave them an alternative which all both were happy with. How does that involve marriage? That was for us. Naruto spoke. After some dating we got drunk and... I thought you couldn't get drunk. Enko spoke. All the drinking they did. I'm sure I was drugged. Strangely, Samui was the one who avoided eye contact and woke up engaged. He smiled fondly. I kind of want to see where it goes. Well, I'm canceling it. The Raikage shouted. I will not lose one of my best jounin that easily. I'm sorry, Naruto. Sarutobi spoke, but I can't allow your marriage to either of these women. How about another deal? Naruto offered to the both of you. We're listening. The Raikage answered. The secret to defeating your worst enemy. Naruto spoke. You don't mean. The Kages saw hope. Yes, the secret to defeating. Defeating what? Enko asked. An enemy to two Kages. Paperwork. Naruto finished. The Kages fell to their knees. This was the moment they had hoped actually existed. Now they would be free. The Jounin and Umbu couldn't believe what they were seeing. Here were two Kage leaders bowing to a genin. Tell us, Naruto-sama, they begged. We'll do anything. I have many more kunoichi and Kumo. The Raikage spoke. I can know. Naruto spoke. All amusement gone. I'm happy with Samui. He looked at the Kages. All I want is for them to be free to come and go as they please, as my wives. Deal. Many couldn't believe that Naruto had just turned down a harem. The men wouldn't have. That was one of the few traits what made him desirable to the Ice Queen. They missed it. They wished their boyfriends were like that. Naruto Hiruzen spoke. As well as this has been, there is matters we need to attend. He sighed with the council. Can I know? The Hokage stopped him. Whatever it is. No, he shouted. They need what little of their mind working intact. Fine, Naruto grumbled before smirking. Let's meet the council. We have much to discuss. We do have much to discuss, Hokage-sama. He turned to the Hokage, who flinched, especially concerning my mother. Chapter 17. Council. I have gathered you all to discuss some important matters. The third spoke. Matter concerning the myself, the village, and he hated this part. Naruto. Kill the demon. He should be banished. Silence. Sarutobi growled in a low voice. He will not be executed or banished. He turned to the door. Come in. Naruto walked in with confidence. The council hated a fox on his head. He made his way toward the Hokage and bowed. He turned to the council. All right, let's get this over with. Naruto spoke. You brat, a fat civilian shouted. You will show us respect. Respect is earned. Naruto snapped, not given from simple names or titles. We are the council. We stand. Yeah, Naruto out loud. Here is the new pecking order. He pointed to them. It goes you, the dirt, the worms inside of the dirt, that guy in the bandages, Danzo Tsum-san, the Hokage, then himself, then me. Any questions? You demon. A kunai was lodged into his skull. What? He broke the third's law. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, the Hokage sighed, it's time we got to business. Yes, one of the elders spoke, it has come to our attention that you have abilities not taught by your sensei, and gave village secrets to Kumo. I didn't give Kumo anything, Naruto stated, I traded with them, and what did you trade? Hayashi asked, having a good idea. And what did you receive? I traded the eyes of Niji Hyuga, Naruto answered, earning a volley of shouts for one of the 4 treasures of the Rikudo himself, that silenced them. You lie, one Sakura Haruno shouted, the sage's weapons wouldn't be traded for eyes that won't work. Are you related to Sakura Haruno? Naruto asked, she is my daughter. I see where she gets her voice from, he stated, earning a laugh from many. You are right, they wouldn't trade them for that, so I fixed them. Impossible, Hayashi stated, once the cage bird seal is on a placed branch member it destroys the eyes if removed. He was so sure no amount of medical chakra could heal them. Who said anything about medical chakra? Naruto asked, I'm talking about medical blood. Medical blood? Danzo asked, what else is he capable of? My blood has near healing properties, Naruto stated, how do you think I survived those beatings as a child with no mark? No one answered, but they thought the same, the demon because of that Kumo can experiment with a healthy pair of eyes. The civilian side of council began ranting that the demon should be killed for giving village secrets. The shinobi side that hated him began yelling on harvesting his blood. Shut up, or I'll turn you all into a trees. Naruto stated, they heard what happened so they can restore blindness? Danzo asked, what else can they do, what are the limits? He needed to know how far the boy could take Konoha. I can heal nearly anything if I put enough blood to it. Naruto stated, I would offer to heal you as thanks, but I think you want to keep them. Danzo nodded. Brat Sakura called, what treasure did you get and where is it? It was the banana palm fan, he answered, I have it sealed into my new sword. He held the weapon for them to see, now all of its power is in here. Then we the council demand that you hand the fan over, Sakura shouted, and the Kusanagi blade you stole from Orochimaru. The civilians agreed Sasuke could use it more than you. No, we the council. I will eat you, Naruto stated, feeling the room with fear. I will use a kimchi seasoning, roast you and then eat you. Silence works every time. These swords are mine, understand? He glared at the civilians. The only way to get these are through my cold, dead and unmoving corpse. He increased the glare. You're all welcome to try, but know this, he increased the fear. I will come at you with razor blades and lemon juice, rotten lemon juice. Bra Naruto-san, Hayashi spoke, could your blood heal Niji? It could, he answered, but I won't allow it, not with my blood. Why are you leaving him like that? Hayashi asked, he is a great Hyuga and could help the clan and he means nothing to you. For Hinata, he answered, I have no romantic feelings for her, but what he did was below even trash. He looked the civilians in the eyes, turning on a family member who has never done him wrong. All she wanted was his love. He looked to Hiruzen, how could I do anything less? I have received a few complaints, Sakura's mother shouted. It seems that this brat has been tormenting my daughter and Sasuke-sama with death threats since their first C-rank mission. I have, Naruto admitted. See, another civilian shouted. Kill the silenced. Some shouted, please explain, Naruto-kun. The Uchiha demanded my secrets and then Sakura attacked me when I refused. Naruto answered, I was within my rights to defend myself as I see fit. It was true. Where did you learn these techniques from? Inoichi asked. I was under the impression that Kakashi was focused on the Uchiha. I was trained by the Ice Queens of Konoha, Naruto answered blankly. There have been accusations that your relationship with them have. The Nara clan head looked for the right words. Troublesome. They were my Heims, Naruto admitted. They were everything to me. You say that in past tense, the Nara stated. What happened? Your son, he looked at Tsum, and your daughter to Inoichi. Naruto-san, Inoichi called. I would like to apologize for my daughter. Naruto-kun, Tsum spoke. I must apologize for my son and daughter as well. I already got even with him, Naruto stated to Tsum before turning to Inoichi. She helped show me who I was dealing with. He smiled happily. Now I have my new Heims. Yes, your Heims, Sakura stated. We believe that they should be given to the Uchiha. The civilians agreed. We can interrogate them for all they know and you will do nothing, Naruto stated in a tone that could melt ice. If you do, I will leave you as nothing more than a broken husk. Listen here, demon. I am no demon, Naruto stated. One of my Heims may be one, but I was not lucky enough. He sighed. I was born a simple human. What do you mean by that? The Nara clan head asked on edge, as was everyone else. My Kitsuheim, Naruto answered, is the Kyubi herself. Impossible, one civilian shouted. You are the Kyubi. I've had enough of this. The fox spoke, scaring the council. Naruto-kun is not me. The fox jumped and took a human form. I am the Kyubi. Any questions? No way are you the Kyubi, a stupid civilian shouted. You're a woman, Everyone knows that the 9 demons are genderless, many agreed, or at least male, fewer agreed. I see, she stated. Naruto? Go right ahead, my Harem. Naruto encouraged. Kyuubi walked toward the man and grabbed him by the neck. In a flashy display, her body was engulfed in a bright flame. Once the fire dispersed, the council and Hokage held their breath. Behind her flowed 9 glorious tails, and on her head, 2 fox-like ears. She raised a claw-like nail. Like Naruto, she stated, my chakra is toxic. The claw began glowing red, but mine is more potent. She waved it in his face. If I scratch you with this, then that part will erode away. She smirked. Should I do it? What part should it be? Kyuubi-san, the Hokage called. We need some of the civilian council alive. Can I still kill this guy? She asked. No, he answered, dropping the man. She faced Naruto. We're going to set the training field up for your new sword style. With a kiss she was off. New style? Some asked, trying to be friendly. I was told you were training in 2 styles. She spoke. 3 already. You must. Some-san, I know what you're trying to do. Naruto stated. I won't seek revenge on your daughter. What about my son? She asked. Or mine? Hiruzen asked. And my daughter? Naruto? Inoichi asked. Naruto didn't answer. What's this new one? Danzo asked. It must be good if you let Orochimaru go. Danzo, the Hokage growled. How did he know what happened? Before he could ask, Sakura spoke. You let an S-rank enemy of the Leaf escape. Sakura shouted more than asked over a simple scroll. Many were just as angered. What sword style could be worth that? My mother's, he answered calmly, a little too calmly. Naruto. Hiruzen called. Stay calm. I am calm. Naruto answered. Your mother? Sakura asked. What 2-bit whore spread her legs to give birth to you? Instead of getting angry like many expected, he put on a smile. The same smile he wore while fighting Neji. Only the shinobi were able to notice it. Naruto. Sarutobi called. I'm calm. Naruto repeated. I'm like the honey badger. He stated. I don't give a shit. Well, that's. But Naruto continued. If I hear anyone badmouth my mother, the room became cold. I'll hunt you assholes down and feed you your own genitals. They backed up in fright. I don't care if your mother's there, your grandmother, innocent bystanders, little kids, babysitters, bill collectors. I'll leave the whole area with cold fear and hot with piss if I have to. Do you know why? Silence. Because I just don't give a fuck. You've been taking lessons from Tayuya, haven't you? Hiruzen asked. He wouldn't meet the Hokage's gaze. Naruto-tsum spoke. Who is your mother? She had an idea. Kushina Uzumaki, he answered. I'm sure you've heard of her. The entire council went silent. They all knew who Kushina was. She was one of the most skilled and powerful kunoichi in history. Her skill with the sword was said to have matched the 7 swordsmen of the mist. If she was alive, then many would have believed her equal to the Sannin themselves. Naruto with that skill. Many shuddered at the very thought alone. As her son Hiruzen spoke, he will inherit everything of hers. He glared at the council. That means, even the Uzumaki bank account. Naruto-tsum spoke. I was very close friends with Kushina. I could tell you about her. I would like that. He gave her a sincere smile. We shouldn't allow him that style. Someone shouted. What if he seeks revenge? If you hadn't wronged me, then you have nothing to fear. Naruto stated. Are you saying that you've wronged me? Silence. Hokage-sama. Naruto spoke in a mocking tone. You still haven't told me why you tried to deny me my mother's style. I was trying to protect you. The Hokage spoke. I call bullshit. Naruto stated. I was beaten and tortured so many times that only a ninja can cause me pain. He growled. You call that protection? It was for your own good. He tried to reason. Your mother made a lot of enemies. If I had her style, I could have protected myself. Naruto stated. I would have done everything to master her style. Exactly, the Hokage snapped. You would have. That's the problem. He reasoned. That would have gained too much attention from her enemies in and out of the village. He calmed himself. You probably would have been used as a political tool or ended up like Sasuke Uchiha. It's only because of the Uchiha part I'm not going off the deep end. Naruto, the Aburame clan head, spoke. How were you able to use the Izanagi? He asked. It's an Uchiha bloodline technique. My bloodline gives me the ability to use any Genjutsu. Naruto answered. I can actually collect fear and become more powerful without limit. Lies. Kushina never had a bloodline. Mothers aren't the only ones that can pass on a bloodline. Naruto stated. I've never heard of that bloodline. The Nara spoke. You wouldn't have. Naruto stated. I am the second human to possess it. He smiled at the council. It was given to me by Q-chan. That demon can give bloodlines? Sakura shouted. We should make her what, Haruno? Naruto asked. Make her what? She was silenced under his blindfolded gaze. Everyone went silent at the intense hatred in his voice. Have you forgotten who my Harem is? She is the Kyuubi. The all paled. If she were to attack, then Konoha would be screwed and I'd be behind her all the way. But She's the reason why you're hated, one of the elders spoke. This earned her a glare. No, she isn't, Naruto stated. I am hated because people blamed me for her actions. They looked away, they couldn't see the difference between the kunai and the scroll. Why are you defending her? A civilian asked. She's unholy. Unholy, you say? Naruto asked. He opened his jacket and ripped his shirt. It didn't show skin. Instead, it showed an endless abyss of horrors even dreams couldn't make. The screams of terror that filled the room would forever be remembered. Even the ever-stoic Hyuga and Aburame clan heads couldn't keep silent. Danzo and Hiruzen were no different either. Their screams mixed well with the others as they cried out for their moms to make the bad things go away. Not soon enough, Naruto closed his cloths. He sealed the nightmare away for now. Anything else? Naruto asked the horror. Danzo wailed the horror. Where does your food go? The Hyuga asked. It explains the unholy amount of ramen he eats. Hiruzen stated. Unholy? Naruto asked. The nightmare had returned. Stop that. Hiruzen ordered. I can't take much more of this. The nightmare was gone. The council stared at Naruto, too afraid to speak. Naruto, could you show us the bloodline? What do you want to see? Naruto asked. I could show you wonders only seen in your dreams or horrors of your worst nightmare. He offered. I could give you whatever you want or take it away. Naruto. Hiruzen asked. Could you show up? I got it, he shouted, cutting the Hokage off. Old man, after this you can consider yourself forgiven. Naruto undid his blindfold and gazed into Hiruzen's eyes. He found what he was searching for. I am sorry. Monkey Kuin, a sweet voice called. The entire council turned to the voice and gasped at the sight. A woman. She was beautiful in a motherly way. She looked kind, but had a firm gaze in her eyes. Take her away, Hiruzen pleaded. I beg you, Naruto, please, take her away. Naruto knew that whoever this woman was, she was precious to him. He loved to mess with a person's fear, never their heart. I'm sorry, Naruto repeated. Who is she? You beast, Sakura shouted. That is Bawako Sarutobi, she stated, late wife of the third Hokage. I want to know, Monkey Kuin. Bawako spoke. Why did I have to die among strangers? Where were you when I was being killed? She whispered. I called for you, you didn't come to save me. She sobbed. You promised to always protect me. You never needed protection. He spoke through tears. You were a strong woman. He stood straight. You never feared death. You were a kunoichi, a soldier. You're damn right I was. She spoke in a tone only he knew. So stop sulking and be who you were. She ordered. You the Hokage, not some spineless fool, so act like it. Yes dear, and like that she was gone. Naruto. Hiruzen spoke. I believe it's time to get down to our last bit of business. He should be put on the CRA. Danzo stated. I accept. Naruto spoke. On the conditions that I choose my wives. Done. Naruto. Sarutobi spoke. You are hereby promoted to Chunin. Only Chunin? Naruto asked. I would have pushed for Jounin, but you need more experience. Fine, I know when I'm beaten. And lastly, Hiruzen spoke. I am retiring. I've been at this too long. He admitted, earning a gasp. It's time I give the position up. I've decided to give it to my old student. Jiraiya, someone asked to know. The female shouted. Don't worry ladies. Naruto soothed. He won't be peeking anytime soon. Naruto. Sarutobi spoke. What did you do to my student? I caught him peeking on my hymes. Naruto stated. I had to punish him. I am sending Jiraiya and Naruto to retrieve Tsunade. Hiruzen spoke. She will be given the title. You're sending a genin? Chunin. Naruto corrected. A chunin that seduced two foreign kunoichi and now possessed two powerful weapons. Hiruzen spoke. Beat the one-tail demon after a match with a true Hyuga prodigy. He continued. Beat Orochimaru and his elite shinobi along with two of the reanimated Hokages. He looked at the council, all in the time span of a single hour. They stayed silent. What if she doesn't come willingly? Naruto asked. I leave it in your capable hands. Hiruzen spoke. Dismissed. Come on, Sum-chan. Naruto spoke. I want to hear about my mom, say over ramen. But I hate ramen. Dodge. Naruto tackled her out of the way as a thin snake-like object moved toward her. What is that? Someone asked. You shouldn't have insulted ramen, Naruto stated. Now it's out for revenge. Kill it with fire. You can't kill ramen, Naruto stated. Then what do we do? Dodge. And dodge they did. Chapter 18. Search. Naruto and Jiraiya began their search early the next morning. What can you tell me about this Tsunade? Naruto asked. What are we searching for? Well, she has the largest set of information that's relevant, Naruto stated. Fine. Jiraiya sulked. She is a Sannin like me and Orochimaru and is the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Jiraiya spoke. She is by far the greatest medic nin in history and is considered the most powerful kunoichi. She is already considered the strongest human. Her strength makes even guys look like a weakling. Naruto felt a shudder of excitement, a strong opponent he thought no focus, she's not an enemy, she has a horrible drinking and gambling addiction, her luck is awful. It can't be that bad, Naruto stated, can it? Her losing streak has earned her a title. Jiraiya said it's the he took a dramatic pose legendary sucker. You're supposed to be a legendary shinobi? Naruto asked. No respect, the Sannin mumbled. Would you like to hear her other title? If it's anything like no, Jiraiya waved it off. This one will catch your attention? Well, what is it? Jiraiya smirked. The slug princess. Naruto gave Jiraiya a long blank stare through his blindfolds. After a simple minute he walked off toward their destination. Jiraiya barely heard Naruto mumbling to himself. Ahem, huh? Say, Naruto. Jiraiya spoke. How would you like to sign the Toad contract? No, Naruto answered. I could teach you some ninjutsu. He tried. What kid doesn't like flashy jutsus? No thank you, Naruto answered. What? Jiraiya couldn't believe what he was hearing. But I'm a Sannin, I could teach you jutsus that would make Kakashi jealous. It's not that I don't like ninjutsu, Naruto spoke, it's just that I'm a Soul Gen and Kenjutsu user. But even the best in those fields use ninjutsu. Jiraiya spoke. Look at the 7 swordsmen, and even the greatest Genjutsu masters. He continued. There are also situations where power is just required. Yes, I'm aware of that, Naruto admitted. That's why I have this. He gestured to his elemental sword. I can attack with all 5 elements when most have only 1 or 2. And defense? Jiraiya was sure he had him. How do you defend against a strong attack? Shouldn't I be able to rely on my partner? Naruto asked. Well, yes, he agreed, but some attacks can't be blocked easily. If I can't overpower it or hide from it, then I take the hit. Are you crazy? Jiraiya asked. Some of those attacks could kill a person on the spot. Yes, Naruto answered. I can however take a lot of punishment. But it's just Genjutsu. The last person who insulted Genjutsu ended up eating maggots. Naruto warned neither of them had anything else to say to the other, so it was a quiet trip. They were moving through some town when they decided to find a hotel. Hello sir, a lady spoke. Are you Jiraiya of the Sannin? Maybe, he answered. The lovely lady. Who are you? I'm a fan of your work, she spoke with a blush. I must say that I love lies, he shouted. He had a low trust on women after the hot spring incident. Drop, you disguise monster. He never did find out they were illusions. I will not be bested a second time. Needless to say, things got real stupid real fast. Lucky for Naruto, he decided to go and get a room. He left the Sannin to his punishment. Knock knock. Naruto had felt 2 powerful chakra signatures at the door. One was greater than his without his fear and Kyuubi. Needless to say, he had to open the door. On the other side were 2 figures in black cloaks with red clouds. One was Kisame, a rogue member of the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. The other was Itachi, older brother to Sasuke and the killer of their clan. Yes, Naruto asked, can I help you too? Naruto Uzumaki. Itachi spoke. You will come with us. I need an adult. Naruto shouted. I need an adult. We are adults. All eyes turned to Kisame. What, we are? Naruto closed the door in their faces. He didn't lock it. He had a good reason for not doing so. When the 2 opened the door, they were greeted with a horrible sight. Guyan Lee. Overweight. Sunset. Overweight. Lingerie. Overweight. Men hugging. Needless to say, Itachi closed the door. I did not need to see that. Itachi spoke. Hey, is it getting hot in here? Kisame asked, earning a look from Itachi. What? Oh, don't look at me. Like he was cut off by a large explosion of flame from the other side of the room. They were able to avoid it at the last moment without any burns. Naruto took a swing with his elemental sword and unleashed a torrent of lighting. Kisame stepped forward and unsheathed his own sword. The lighting hit full force and began to dissipate. My sword eats chakra, Kisame bragged. Your attack is useless. Naruto cut the stream and ran forward. Kisame followed suit. Their blades collided and Naruto instantly had regrets. He hadn't crossed blades with a sword this naturally heavy since Zabuza. You could only imagine the extra weight Kisame was adding. Jumping back, he drew the Kusanagi and took a stance. Dance of the Poisoned Snake. The move was precise and perfect, as always. Unfortunately for Naruto, his opponent was a S-rank ninja. Unlike Orochimaru, this one actually specialized in Kenjutsu. Kisame merely sidestepped the blows as if they weren't there. The best Naruto was able to do was put a scratch on his face. Itachi, a pain in the butt, called, I'm here to kill you. Chidori, the younger Uchiha, charged forward with the intent to kill. The elder simply grabbed him by the wrist and directed the blow to the wall. Naruto had to admit, the crater was impressive. The explosions began to draw a lot of attention from citizens. Many started leaving their rooms to see the cause of the commotion. This would make it difficult for Naruto to fight. "Alright, Itachi," Naruto spoke, "how about we do this in a Genjutsu duel? I'm listening. If you win, then I come with you," he offered, "and if I win, then you two take Sakura Haruno in my place." "Did you say Haruno?" Itachi asked. "Yes, hell no." "Please no," Itachi spoke, "how about we just leave you alone?" Fine. A poof of smoke appeared and Jiraiya appeared on a giant toad. His pose was so ridiculous, the toad looked embarrassed. "It is I, Jiraiya of the Shut Up," Naruto ordered. "I have it under control." Naruto began undoing his blindfold as Itachi's Sharingan began to change. "Since I was the one challenged by you two, I choose the battlefield." Naruto spoke. "I assert reality." "What's the game?" asked Itachi. "And the rules?" First to hesitate or fails to come up with an idea, Naruto spoke, loses. The whole area began to change as the two shinobi activated their Genjutsu to the fullest. Reality really did shift and change under the skill of the two Genjutsu masters. Even the civilians and other shinobi were drawn into the world of illusions. They became nothing and everything, the power of illusion. Naruto made the first move. "I am the dire wolf," he spoke, a prey-stalking lethal prowler. Reality began to take form. A dire wolf came forward from nothing. It began to growl and snarl as it lunged toward Itachi, fangs bare. "I am a hunter," Itachi spoke. Horse-mounted and wolf-stabbing, a hunter wielding a large spear appeared from nowhere. Just as Itachi described, the hunter was on top of a large horse. Naruto felt the spear pierce him. Had any of it been real, the blow would have been lethal. "I am the horsefly," Naruto spoke. Horse stinging and hunter throwing. Konoha Shino Aburame almost cracked a smile. He knew somewhere someone was using an insect for something other than insult. Itachi felt the fly bite him as if he were the horse. He also felt the unseen ground as the hunter was tossed. "I am the spider," Itachi spoke, fly-consuming and eight-legged. Naruto felt himself wrapped in the hungry spider's merciless web. From the shadows the large arachnid made its way down the webs. He felt as the fangs pierced him and drained his blood. Konoha Shino lost his almost smile. "I am the snake," Naruto spoke, spider devouring and poison tooth. The snake swallowed the spider in one gulp. Naruto knew from experience what that was like. He actually took a little pleasure as the insect squirmed for its freedom. "I am the ox," Itachi groaned, snake-crushing and heavy-footed. Heavy-footed is right. Naruto could feel himself crushed under the beast. Time to take this up a notch. "I am disease," Naruto spoke, plague-causing and warm life-destroying. The ox body of Itachi began to rot away. For a second, a minor second, Itachi showed an emotion, fear. Not at the challenge, but at the choice. "So I struck a nerve," he decided to act as if Itachi hadn't hesitated. "I am a world," Itachi spoke, life-nurturing. This caught many off guard, especially Sasuke. Itachi Uchiha, nurturing. "I am a nova," Naruto spoke, all-destroying and planet-cremating. Itachi felt as he was burned to nothing but was never even touched. "I am the beyond," Itachi spoke, past the stars and life-embracing. "Time to end this." "I am the anti-life," Naruto spoke, the beast at the end that will consume all. Naruto stepped forward. "Even you, Itachi, but disease is already working on that." Itachi jumped back and broke the illusion. He lost. Itachi Kisame called. "What happened? You never lose in Genjutsu." "He caught me by surprise." Itachi spoke. "Well, let's grab the brat and go." Kisame took a swing at Naruto and cut through his legs. Izanagi Naruto appeared unharmed. Itachi was caught by surprise at what he had saw. Naruto had used an Uchiha-only technique, capable only by the Sharingan. Or so he thought. Man, Naruto thought, even with my fear, that sword took a huge chunk out of my reserves. "Let's go," Kisame, Itachi ordered. "We're leaving." But, now his tone brokered no argument. He turned to Naruto. "Before we leave, what beats the anti-life?" He had to know. Naruto couldn't help but smirk when he answered. "Hope." Itachi gave a nod of understanding before leaving. Neither Naruto nor Jiraiya tried to follow them. "Well, that was dope," Sasuke growled. "How did you make Itachi retreat?" "I used the technique I learned in this scroll." He held out a blue scroll that Sasuke snatched and immediately tore it open to read. "Dear team, you deserve this." Dodge pink paint launched itself onto Sasuke's forehead in small letter. It read, "I love pink-haired and big forehead girls." Why, he never finished as Naruto punched him unconscious. Naruto Jiraiya spoke was that dynamic entry. Jiraiya felt a powerful kick land on his face. Hello Guy Sensei, Naruto greeted. I need a favor. What can I do for such a youthful friend of mine? Unlike Tenten, Guy didn't resent Naruto for what happened to Neji. If I cannot do it, then I will. Naruto spoke, cutting him off. I need you to unclothe Sasuke team and leave him in front of his fangirls. Consider it done, Guy spoke. That's it? Naruto asked. You not going to complain or ask anything on stripping an underage boy? It's not my first time, Guy admitted. How do you think Lee and Neji get patched up after Tenten has a fit? So true. Tenten held nothing back with her babies, as she called them. Thank you, Sensei. Naruto spoke. Here's a tortoise, to go with Lee's turtle. He handed it over. Careful now. Naruto warned. Lee's is male, so don't leave them alone. You carry tortoises with you? Jiraiya asked. I will keep them from breeding, Guy shouted, ignoring Jiraiya, and if I cannot, then I will train the babies to be youthful. Now Naruto stated, let's go find us a female Sannin. Chapter 19. Tsunade. Their journey hadn't been too long before Jiraiya met his informant, in a strip club. Apparently my Genjutsu side effect only works when he's not paying. How sad is that? From what he was told, Tsunade was in the village they were now entering. Now all they had to do was find her and convince her to return home. Okay, Naruto. Jiraiya spoke. My sources told me she's somewhere in here. He looked around, look for any signs of unnatural damage near bars or casinos. He ordered. She tends to get aggravated when she loses. He took a serious tone. We could be here for a while, so I need to do research to gain some information while you or Naruto spoke, cutting him off. I could look for the largest chakra source in the area. Censors. Jiraiya side takes all the fun out of the hunt. Hunt? Naruto questioned. We are trying to find our future leader, not be predators. Naruto shouted. We get enough of that from Orochimaru. With no better plan, they decided to follow Naruto's idea. They ended up in front of a bar just as Jiraiya stated they would. They found Tsunade with her assistant and a pig. I was denied rabbit stew, now I can make up with pork. Tsunade. Jiraiya called. Long time no see. Jiraiya? She was shocked to say the least. What are you doing here? What? He feigned hurt. Can't I visit an old friend? No, she and Naruto answered. Whose side are you on? Jiraiya asked. Naruto. The side that gets that pig in my belly. Naruto answered. Oink. Naruto took his eyes off the pig and the lady holding him. He was focused on the female Sannin. You are Tsunade? He asked. Yes, she answered, eyeing Naruto cautiously. And you are? I am Naruto Uzumaki, he answered proudly. Uzumaki? She asked. Your Kushina's boy? Yes, he took her hand, giving it a light kiss. It is an honor to meet you. Tsunade couldn't hold down her blush. My Slugheim. Jiraiya. Tsunade spoke. If you took lessons from him, then you could actually get a lady that didn't charge. That's just not fair, Jiraiya grumbled. I am Jiraiya the gallant. Why don't I get respect? He asked before pointing to Naruto. Don't you already have enough women with your girlfriend and 2 fiancés? Girlfriend? Fiancés? Oink. I'll eat you. Oink. I am in a very open relationship with my Heims, Naruto stated calmly, and Kyuubi Heim is actually demanding that I have more Heims, just so she can be Alpha Heim. Well, I'm impressed, Tsunade admitted, but I'm a bit old for you. I know you're as old as this perverted toad here, Naruto stated. He almost earned a chakra punch to the face, almost, but I see no problem with that. He admitted to me it only makes you a more fine wine. Tsunade turned a shade of red that put tomatoes to shame. Why couldn't you be this smooth? She asked Jiraiya. So how open was that relationship you mentioned? Very, Naruto answered. Just 3 conditions. Which are? You must honestly love me, he stated. You come back and be our Hokage, he continued, and you let me roast that pig. What? I'm hungry. FONO, she shouted. About being the Hokage, she glared at Jiraiya. Explain. Jiraiya told Tsunade everything that had happened and how they ended up searching for her. From Orochimaru's failed invasion to the 3rd Hokage finally stepping down. Needless to say, she was not pleased with any of it at all. Are you out of your mind, Jiraiya? Tsunade asked. Why would I want that full title? That question struck a nerve in our favorite blonde. Is Naruto going to have to choke a bitch? The village needs you, Tsunade. Jiraiya stated. Think of all you could do to help. Forget it, she stated. I'm never going back to that village again. It looks like Naruto is going to have to choke a bitch. Pathetic, Naruto spoke. I expected better from you. What are you rambling on about? You're not the one was I told of, Naruto stated in disappointment. Where is the woman the Hokage and this perverted fool spoke so highly of? He asked in outrage. This caused Tsunade to lower her head in shame. All I see is a spoiled woman drowning herself in her own self-pity. He gave a mock sigh. I guess Jiraiya really was the good student out of the Sannin. I feel disappointed. What happened to all that fine wine you spoke of? It spoiled, Naruto answered. Now all that's left is rotten grape juice. You want to take this outside? She asked, but Tsunade Naruto stated we are outside. Tsunade was confused by the statement and looked around. Sure enough, they were outside in the middle of the street. When did? She looked to Naruto. You. Naruto, it would be better if we weren't being eyed by passing strangers, Jiraiya stated. Real or not? Fine, and like that, it was over. The shinobi were back inside the bar. I need a drink, Tsunade groaned. I never knew why people liked Genjutsu. Tsunade stated it's only used for hiding. Tsunade, how is your sake? Tsunade knew something was wrong the minute he asked the question. She was proven correct when she felt something squirm in her mouth. There was no hesitation as she spit it all onto Jiraiya. Now the toad Sannin was covered in sake, spit, and squirming maggots. Are you trying to piss me off? She asked. You could have killed me. If I wanted to do that, Naruto spoke, you'd be dead. A voice whispered in her ear, forcing her to earn around to nothing. Angering you, on the other hand, is so easy, it almost no fun, almost. That's it, she shouted. You. Me outside. Lady Tsunade Shizune called. Be careful, Jiraiya warned. Don't take this lightly. Don't worry, Jiraiya, Tsunade called. I won't hurt your apprentice. I was talking to you, Tsunade. Jiraiya spoke in a rare moment of seriousness. He forced Orochimaru, his elites, and the revived first two Hokages to retreat. He stated after he defeated a Hyuga and the one-tailed demon container. Please, Jiraiya. Tsunade waved off. It seems he got you with that Genjutsu a little too well. Tsunade and Naruto stood face to face outside of the bar. Shizune tried to get Tsunade to calm down, but she wasn't paying the apprentice any attention. All she wanted was to put the brat in his place. I'll give you one chance, brat, Tsunade spoke. Just give up and I'll let you walk away in peace. We both know I won't, Naruto stated. Fine, Tsunade growled. I'll go easy on you. She gained a smirk. Naruto has seen far too often arrogance. I'll only use one finger to beat you. If that's how it'll be, Naruto spoke, I'll only use Genjutsu. That irked her. I'm a Sannin brat, she growled. Do you think you could beat me with simple Genjutsu? If you're like the other two Sannin, then yes. He answered. You become so focused on your own specialty that you ignore the other arts, like Genjutsu. Everything Naruto had said was completely true. Tsunade, like the others, had focused mainly on her strength and her healing. Genjutsu, or even ninjutsu, was far from her top skills. But she wouldn't admit it. I'm a Sannin, for crying out loud. That's when it happened. Nothing. She felt some kind of shift, but absolutely nothing happened. It just seemed her fears came to the surface and stayed. Naruto stared at her in his simple smile. The wind blew, pushing her hair and ruffling his blindfold. It picked up harder and blew her hair loose. 1 minute he was across from her, the next he was pushing her hair back in place. He had moved with speed she couldn't see. In a swift movement, he drew his sword and cleaved her in half, from side to side. Tsunade fell to the ground in shock and untold pain. Is this how I die? It was different from what she had always expected. Killed by a child. Hey, you better not fall asleep on me, Naruto shouted. That's the same as giving up. She looked around and at herself. Her body was unscathed from the blow. Her breath hitched as she fell to her knees, trying to regain her breath. She was alive. You brat, she called. What did you do to me? I just showed you some useless Genjutsu, he mocked. I never even drew my sword, so I kept my end of the deal. Well, I'll keep to mine as well, she stated, by shoving this one finger through your skull. Tsunade ran forward in a fury, index finger raised for action. Pulling back, she let her finger fly toward Naruto's head. Naruto just stood there as the older blonde passed through him. She never had the chance as the world began to grow larger around her. And oh, she was growing smaller. As she shrunk, her age began to reduce. Now she was just a little kid again. If you want to keep acting like a spoiled brat, then I'll treat you like one. He spoke. I'm going to do what your parents should have done. Naruto grabbed her by her wrist and placed her over his knee. She tried to struggle, but it was as if all her strength had left her. It was as if she really was a child, so she did what all children do. She threw a tantrum. Let me go, you brat, or... Smack. Tsunade stopped in her tracks as she felt the blow to her backside. Did you just... Smack. OW, when I get out of this I'm going to... Smack. Smack. Stop that you. Smack. 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 Ow, wah mommy. Your mother's dead. Smack. 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 Naruto finally relented and restored her to her rightful age. He sat her on her legs as she massaged her sore bottom. Tsunade turned to her apprentice Shizune and her former partner Jiraiya. She glared at the snickering pair in complete embarrassment. Tsunade in her rage ran forward, index finger raised for action. Pulling back, she let her finger fly toward Naruto's head. It seems she really intends to keep her word. Naruto just stood there as the older blonde passed through him. I'm getting real tired of this brat, she shouted. You and me both, Grandma Naruto stated behind her, caught off guard by the close range of the younger man. She acted on reflex. Drawing her hand back, she delivered a devastating, full-powered punch to the blonde. Only for it to be blocked by the side of the Kusanagi blade he wielded. I win, Naruto stated. How? She asked. You drew your sword. Wrong, he spoke. This is still Genjutsu, he spoke, causing the area to shudder. I never even drew my blade. Then how did you block my punch? She shouted. I am a Genjutsu master, he spoke. I can make you think you punched a block of iron without your strength. With nothing more to say, he made his way back to the bar. Tsunade knew she had lost, but she wouldn't go easily. She was going to make sure she delivered a blow that hurt. If I can't hurt him physically, then I'll give one to the heart, she thought. Pathetic, she shouted. You're nothing like your mother. This stopped him just as he entered the doorway. What? Naruto growled. She never hid behind such techniques. Tsunade continued. I bet if she were alive then she would be ashamed to have you as a son. She paused. I know, that's a bet I'd win. A large gash appeared on the doorway as if it had been hacked at. Another appeared and another after each other. They made their way toward Tsunade as Naruto walked toward her. Tsunade knew this wasn't Genjutsu, it was a technique she was familiar with. Quick sword and attack, the moves at high speeds that the average eyes can't match. It's used by moving a single arm at a rapid pace with no traceable chakra, pure speed. This technique would cut her down. Had she not seen it, known of it? Tsunade stepped back and opened both of her hands. Using as much chakra as she could muster, she clapped. The force her hands created caused a small shock wave. I'll admit that was impressive, Tsunade spoke, but it was far too slow. This drew confused looks. Your mother was able to pull that technique off in her sleep with far superior speed. She smirked. I really believe that she would be upset to see that you couldn't use it properly. Shut up, you old hag, Naruto shouted. I'll have this technique down pat in only a week. Really, Tsunade asked. Would you care to put a wager on it? What kind? Naruto asked. If you can master it in a week, then I'll come back to Konoha. And if I fail? Always a catch. Then you give me your swords, they should help pay off my debts. Deal. He turned to leave, but not before Tsunade finished. You should get to practicing, Naruto, she mocked. Mommy won't be able to help you. He stopped. He undid his blindfold. He turned and met eyes with Tsunade. Then he turned to leave. A warm liquid began to fall on her, then another and another, like rain. However, rain didn't come in the color red. This can't be blood, but it was. Tsunade could never forget the warm feeling of that liquid across her skin. The metallic smell and flavor it carried. The memories it contained. It was blood. Tsunade was too stunned to move as it came down in a heavy pour. The bloody rain began to come down harder and faster by the second. A few feet away, the drops began to stop and slide, as if on something. On someone. It began to take the faces of the two most important people to her. Tsunade-chan. Big sister. Why didn't you save us? Tsunade couldn't believe what she saw. It was her little brother and former lover. They were becoming clearer and clearer by the second in the way she best remembers them. Unfortunately for her, that wasn't a good thing. She best remembers them as they were the last time she saw them. No dying. No covered in blood. No suffering. No. All because she couldn't save them. Don't make me see them, she wailed. Not like this. But they wouldn't go away. They stayed there, begging for an answer. One she couldn't give. It seemed like the haunting would go on forever. That she would forever see her loved ones as some form of punishment. It almost started to seem like death would be better. That's when it happened. The world shattered. Everything was back as it should have been. She looked around and saw both Shizune and Jiraiya beside her. They were the ones who broke the Genjutsu and freed her. She looked around and there was no sign of the former host anywhere. That boy made a tough Genjutsu. Shizune observed. We almost didn't break it. Wa Tsunade Jiraiya called. I don't know what the brat showed you, but know this, all form of the pervert was gone, only a shinobi was left. You deserved it. You had no right to say those things, he growled, but he is an orphan who finally found something to make him feel close to his mom. Jiraiya spoke. Then you say those things. He shouldn't have spoke. The truth, Jiraiya stated, cutting her off. You are just a shell of your former self. He gave a tired sigh. You know, Kushina would be very proud of his progress, maybe even a little jealous. The Toad Sage turned to leave. Wait, Jiraiya-sama, Shizune called. What's that? In the middle of the street was a scroll. Jiraiya picked it up. It was addressed to all of them. He cautiously opened it and read it out loud. Dear old hag, pervy sage, Shizune-san, and lunch, that means you pig. If you are reading this, then you finally got the old hag out of the illusion. I'm going to blow off some steam, so stay away. Beware, Naruto. PS. Dodge. Jiraiya did the opposite of dodging. He tossed the scroll into the air using chakra to push it further. It landed in an empty part of a park. It was the smart decision. The scroll went up in a massive ball of fire. It consumed the area. Luckily there was no one there. The park, however, would never recover from the flames. Is he trying to kill us? Shizune asked. Probably. It was late in the night, or early in the morning if you wanted to be technical. Tsunade had finally recovered from the shock of Naruto's Genjutsu. Now she was trying to find him. She had been searching for several hours with no hope. After a while she was tempted to just go and drink some sake. However, something inside her kept on pulling. Damn brat, where are you? That was when she found him. He was in an empty area that was once full of trees. Now it was mostly just splinters on cleanly cut wood left. How long has he been out here? She finally saw him. How hard has he been pushing himself? She would never know. He's an Uzumaki after all. What do you want, Tsunade? Naruto asked in a cold tone. What are you doing here? Training, he answered simply. Naruto, she spoke. How would you like to add to the bet? Depends, he answered. What's the stakes? If you can finish that technique in a week, she spoke, then I'll give you this. She held out the necklace around her neck, the necklace of the first Hokage. Naruto couldn't help but eye her with great suspicion. This was, after all, one of the most valuable objects in the world. On top of that, it was a family heirloom, her family. What's the catch? If you lose, she spoke, then you give up on trying to master your mother's sword style. So that's your game, he mumbled. Pretty steep stakes on my end, don't you think? Then raise the stakes, she responded. Fine, he thought on it. If I win, then I want the pig. Taunton? Tsunade asked. Why would you want her? I'm going to eat her, Naruto stated. What else? There was no sign of humor in his voice. Tsunade was at a crossroad. By accepting the bet, she would be putting Tun's life in danger. If she lost, then Shizune would never forgive her. I can't back out now. Dill gonna enjoy that pig, he thought. I'll strangle it with my bare hands, watch the lights drain from its eyes, and eat her for dinner that night. His mouth was watering in anticipation. Tail, gristle, teeth, all of it. But until then, how would you like to have dinner with me, Tsunade? He asked, or breakfast at this point. After all that, she shouted. You have the balls to ask me out on a date? Yes, I do, he answered immediately. You little. I have rare sake, Naruto cut in from Kumo. I want to play poker while we eat. Chapter 20. Tsunade 2. Tsunade would never admit it. You could bribe or torture her and she'd never admit it. That was a wonderful date. Out loud. All they did was play poker while eating and drinking sake. Yet it had been one of the best dates she ever had. The last one that good was with her former lover. Dan. She shook the thoughts away. It would do her no good at this point. Tsunade looked toward the blonde Chunin walking her to her hotel room. All night, or morning, he had been a gentleman. Sure, he flirted, but so did she. Not once did he make any perverted comments. Not once did he try to make any sexual gestures. Not once did he stare at her chest. They finally made it to her room. Tsunade took another look at the blonde boy. It's been fun, but here we go, the part where he wants to come inside. I had a nice time, Naruto spoke. I'll see you tomorrow. What? When? What? Who? Stop that. She shouted. Why are you saying goodbye? Tsunade asked, why aren't you trying to come in for sex? Because I never had any intentions of sleeping with you. He admitted what she couldn't believe her ears. Are you saying that because of my age? No, What about all that flirting? She asked. I thought I was fine wine. Your age isn't important. Naruto stated. I'm 13 and none of my Heims are under 20. Then why? Because you may be a Heim, but you're not my Heim. He stated seriously. I won't try to sleep with everyone I take on a date. Are you sure you're a man? She asked skeptically as she folded her arms. Tayuya thinks so, he answered. So does Samui and Kyubi. Well, they. Wait, Kyubi? She asked. As in the nine-tailed fox Kyubi? Yep, well. Good night. Tsunade spoke. See you in a week. Naruto returned. Tsunade would never admit that she had an amazing date. She would never admit that the boy may have a spot growing in her heart. She would never admit she left her door unlocked. The week had come and gone in a flash for Naruto and Tsunade. Their constant dates and inner thoughts were a big help. Jiraiya had tried to get Shizune to help recreate the student-teacher magic Naruto and Tsunade had with him. That earned him 2 punches and a sunset genjutsu. As the week came closer to an end, so did the joy. Everyone noticed that Tsunade seemed to get closer and closer on edge. Naruto couldn't dwell on it as much as he would have liked. He still needed to master his mother's technique. Just one more day, he thought, and the pig will be mine. Naruto-san, a kind voice spoke. Please wake up. Naruto had been having a dream of his Heims bathing in ramen. Needless to say, waking him up wouldn't be easy or pleasant for them. When he did wake up, he could tell something was wrong. Shizune was distraught and Jiraiya's chakra was out of whack. What happened to him? Naruto asked. Tsunade-sama poisoned him, she answered. What did you do? Naruto asked, did you try something perverted again? If he did that, he would be feeling some tough love again. Tsunade ran away. Shizune spoke. That means I win the bet by default. Naruto exclaimed. Come here, pig. Oink. What? Shizune exclaimed, pulling Taunton away. Why do you want her? I'm going to eat her. Naruto casually answered. Tsunade did wager her. This is serious. Brat. Jiraiya spoke in an uncharacteristic way. Tsunade may be going to meet Orochimaru. What's the snake doing here? Naruto asked seriously. He's trying to get Tsunade-sama to join him. Shizune spoke, and if not, kill her. Jiraiya finished. Naruto quickly stood and drew his Kusanagi blade. He made a small cut and held his hand to Jiraiya. Drink, he ordered. Jiraiya did so and felt his chakra control return to normal. Naruto then expanded his sensing radar to its limit and came up with nothing. They're out of range, he spoke. I can't find them. Taunton can. Shizune spoke. She can track Tsunade-sama through smell. Well, let's go. Do we have a plan? Shizune asked. Oh. My. Lord. Naruto exclaimed. What, do you sense them? Jiraiya asked. No, it's. Spit it out. Jiraiya shouted. Naruto pointed to the jumping Taunton. It's Spider Pig. He shouted. Taunton is Spider Pig. It was impossible for Jiraiya and Shizune not to face fault. Too bad for them that they were in the middle of jumping through trees. On a serious note, Naruto spoke. I have a plan. What? I wasn't sure that Tsunade would come back willingly, Naruto admitted, and I knew he would be no help. No respect, Jiraiya mumbled. So I left a latent genjutsu that I can activate at will. Well, activate it. Jiraiya ordered. What's your decision, Tsunade? Orochimaru asked. Join me, and you can see your loved ones again. It's an easy choice. Tsunade thought. I choose Tsunade-chan. A familiar voice called. What are you doing? Tsunade snapped around and her heart nearly broke in two. There, standing in front of her, were the 2 most important people to her. Her little brother and former lover. Everyone else was gone from reality, not that she noticed. It was just her and her precious people. Dan. Nawaki, she couldn't believe her eyes. You're alive? No, Heim. Dan spoke. We died and passed on. You died for a pointless cause, Tsunade spoke to herself. Unfortunately, they heard we died for our village. Dan spoke tensely. The village your grandfather created. Yanawaki spoke proudly. It was our duty, we knew the risks. We died happy and proud, they spoke, knowing that the village had a chance to stand another day. What have you been doing? Nawaki asked. I bet you got that medic program going, right? Tsunade flinched and averted her shamed gaze from their hopeful ones. She couldn't tell them that she's been drowning in self-pity for over 10 years. What do I tell them? Then the memory struck. I've been offered the title Hokage. She spoke. Really, that's great. Nawaki cheered. How did that go? Dan asked in a knowing tone. Once again, Tsunade averted her gaze. Have you found a new precious person? Dan asked. No, never. Tsunade quickly answered. I've never had anyone since you. Dan gave her a critical look. Why? You're all I ever needed. She spoke. I've kept my memory of you in my heart. Sis, you're a moron. Nawaki spoke. We don't want you holding on to us. Dan spoke. Obviously we don't want to be forgotten. But we want you to live, to move on. Nawaki continued. Don't be a shell of yourself. Dan shouted. Be the woman I fell in love with. Be the woman I was proud to call sister. Nawaki joined the shinobi I wanted to be like. Tsunade couldn't hold back the tears she had built up. She let it out. She let out all those years of her self-pity and suffering. She fell to her knees and let them fall. Take them away, brat. Tsunade spoke. They've said enough. What gave me away? A disembodied voice asked. You called me Harem, she admitted. So what's your choice, Harem? They asked. As one, are you going to choose us, or what we stood for? And like that the illusion was over. Tsunade? Orochimaru asked. My answer hasn't changed, she mumbled to herself. What was that? Dodge. He did, just in time to avoid a chakra-enhanced kick to the face. Naruto held an inner smirk. They had just arrived to an area of mass destruction. There wasn't a wall unshattered or a tree unsplit. Naruto knew his genjutsu worked. Looks like Tsunade turned him down. Jiraiya spoke hard. Oink, so you did lead us to Tsunade, huh, pig? Naruto asked. You just earned yourself another day of life. He glared at the pig with hunger. Cherish each moment, pig, because my hunger grows. Naruto, stop threatening the pig. Jiraiya spoke. We need her to take us to Tsunade herself. Fine, though I could find her now. Taunton wasted no time in following Tsunade's scent. The three humans were hot on her heels. We're here. They arrived to see Tsunade locked into combat with Orochimaru and Kabuto. That didn't include the two giant snakes that was summoned as well. Taunton was exhausted from all the terror-induced run. Now she just wanted to relax but couldn't. Naruto was still there. That'll do, pig, that'll do. Naruto spoke before whispering. For now. It is I, Jiraiya of the. We know who you are. No respect, he mumbled. So you're here, Jiraiya? Orochimaru mused. And you brought Naruto-kun as well. The three Sannin jumped into position, each going through the same hand signs. Summoning jutsu from the smoke came their familiars. Not just any, the boss of each species. From Jiraiya, Gamabunta, the chief toad. From Tsunade, Katsuya, the slug boss. From Orochimaru, Manda, the colossal snake. Well, it seems we're all here. Gamabunta spoke. Manda locked eyes on all around him. Knowing Orochimaru, they were all his enemies. His eyes found and stayed on one human in particular. You, boy, he called. Are you the one that gave my kin a concussion? Yep, then die. The colossal snake charged for Naruto with unexpected speed. Whoa, snake, Naruto called as he dodged the first strike while Manda reared back for a second strike. He never got the chance because of Naruto. The blonde raised the Kusanagi and extended it with even faster speed than the snake. The blade pierced Manda through the mouth, forcing him to stay in place. Naruto grabbed his second sword and tapped the blade on the Kusanagi. He sent a powerful electric current toward the boss snake, causing him to dispel. When I say whoa, Naruto called, I mean whoa. Manda won't be happy about that. Gamabunta spoke. Naruto turned his eyes to the two remaining snake summons. Tell the other snakes what you saw. He ordered. Let them know they better whoa when I say whoa. They gave a terrified nod before dispelling. Do you think I need them to take you weaklings on? Orochimaru asked. Yes, yep. Oink, silence, pig. Orochimaru ordered. Hey, Naruto shouted. That's Ms. Pig to you. He continued. Respect my lunch. You haven't won the bet yet, Tsunade called. That's what she thinks, he though. Naruto. Jiraiya called. You hold off, Kabuto. Fine, let's go. Naruto-kun. Kabuto called. Hey, Tsunade. Naruto called. I win. Kabuto charged forward with his hands glowing. Naruto didn't even remove his blindfold. Invert everything suddenly became a massive misdirection for Kabuto. He would raise his arms for defense in one spot only to get a cut in another. The confused Kabuto didn't know where to strike, he could only endure the confused world. In less than a minute he was just a bloody husk. Where are you going, Naruto-kun? Kabuto asked. We're in the middle of a match here. How are you still alive? Naruto asked. I just punctured every vital spot you have. I have a healing factor almost as good as yours. Kabuto spoke. It was true. As they spoke, his body was visibly sealing itself up. Naruto made his way to the healing trader. Do your worst, Kabuto spoke. I'll survive. But will you want to? Naruto asked. Shadow clone jutsu. They each drew their Kusanagi blade and impaled Kabuto, each blade pierced a pain receptor on the traitor. Because of this he was frozen in place, unable to attack, defend or even remove the swords. Henge they each took their half Naruto Kyuubi-like form. Wasting no time they began to tear into and eat Kabuto. Because of the healing he couldn't die, he had to endure it. Over. And over. And over. Kabuto could only scream. It almost reminded Naruto of his childhood. But I got stronger. Naruto-san Shizune called, we need to get out of here. She spoke, the Sannin are beginning their battle. Then we'd miss the fun. Naruto answered, give up. Orochimaru Jiraiya called, you have no snakes and your henchman has been defeated. Are his eating Kabuto? Tsunade asked. It was either him or you, pig. Jiraiya pointed, no choice. Orochimaru thought. Eight-headed serpent jutsu. Large masses of flesh began to form around Orochimaru's body. It began to quickly expand and take form. Instead of doing the smart thing and stopping him, they let it happen. Once finished, there was only a serpent. The creature consisted of 8 snake heads merging into just one body. Each head and body were larger than even Manda, the snake boss. From one of the heads Orochimaru appeared. Why? Was all Tsunade asked. Now you will all die. The snake Sannin shouted. Each head struck the other 2 boss summons. The blow forced them to lose balance and Gamabunta to drop his dagger, leaving them open for attack. The remaining heads struck the vulnerable boss summons, fangs bared. Gamabunta Jiraiya called dispel. The toad Sannin knew the serpent would be poisoned. Katsuya on the other hand was able to break apart into multiple pieces, avoiding the bite. Hey snake, Naruto called, waving the Kusanagi, don't you want your sword back? Naruto-san Shizune called, what are you doing? I'm gaining his attention. Naruto answered, HSSS, it looks like it worked. Shizune spoke, you might want to leave. Naruto spoke. Naruto began to pull out several large amounts of ninja wire and coiled it around himself. On the wires were countless amount of high-powered explosive tags. Shizune saw this and took his advice. One of the snake heads struck toward Naruto. He detonated the tags. Naruto would have been swallowed if he hadn't jumped into the snake's mouth. No one noticed the trail of explosives he left behind. The snake's head showed a sign of surprise before it expanded and blew to pieces. Naruto stood there on the ground as if he hadn't been in the snake's mouth. For the second time. Shin no Ippo, Stage 3, he was fear once more. He jumped high into the air, this would leave a normal shinobi vulnerable. A snake head charged him, mouth wide. Naruto raised his elemental sword and gave a hard vertical cut. He unleashed a sharp vertical line of compressed air. It easily cut through the snake's head, cleaving it down the middle. The air continued on to a place we could never understand. Naruto landed on the thrashing stump. Hey, Tsunade, Naruto called, I win. Naruto jumped off the snakes back into the air. He sheathed his sword as another snakehead came at him from the side. No one saw him redraw his blade, all they saw was the snake get torn to shreds. It continued on as Naruto trailed the snake's body. Naruto Jiraiya called, those heads are pointless. He shouted, you need to stop the one with Orochimaru in it. Fine. Naruto put a lot of distance between him and the snake beast. He raised the Kusanagi blade and took aim. He extended it with great accuracy, he pierced the snake with Orochimaru. The snake tried to wriggle free but Naruto kept turning along with the snake. I have him. Naruto called, hit him with whatever you got. I have this. Tsunade shouted, wielding Gamabunta's dagger. With a massive swing she beheaded the main head. As it fell to the ground, Jiraiya followed with his own attack. Rasengan, the attack tore through the remainder of the snake body, but it didn't stop there. It continued on through straight toward Orochimaru. When he finished, the snake Sannin was gasping in pain. Now Orochimaru, Naruto spoke, how do you intend to make it out of this? He asked, those words won't work. I just mastered one of my mom's techniques and Enko isn't here. The snake Sannin gave a strained smirk. I think I'll just let you keep Tayuya and call it even. Orochimaru spoke. What? Naruto asked tightly, if you let me go. He spoke slowly, then Tayuya will live. He smirked at the look on Naruto's face. Did you really think I wouldn't find out about her betrayal? He asked. I've just been waiting for the right moment. Well, you'll never get it. Jiraiya spoke as he began weaving hand signs. Stop. Naruto ordered, let him go. Are you? I will not put one of my Heims in danger. Naruto spoke as he drew his sword, even if I have to cut you down. The two shinobi, a Chunin and Sannin, had a glaring contest. Only one had noticed Orochimaru had already grabbed Kabuto and left. Well, thanks a lot. Jiraiya drawled. He got away again. He turned to the Chunin. We didn't even know if the threat was legit. Exactly, Naruto spoke. There were too many ways for it to be real and not enough for it to be fake. Enough, Tsunade stated. He's gone, so let's get some sake. They did exactly that. Well, Taunton, Naruto spoke. You've been a big help, but it's time for your final duty. Oink. Being my food. He answered as his jaw unhinged like a snake. Oink. Please, Naruto-san, Shizune begged, don't eat her. Naruto paid her no mind. Naruto, I order you to leave Taunton alone. Tsunade spoke boldly. And why should I do that? Naruto asked with an inner smirk. It's an order. She spoke just as boldly, but with a sincere smile from Yu Hokage. So you've decided to accept? Jiraiya asked happily, earning a nod. That's great. That's a nice try, Naruto spoke, but even the last Hokage wouldn't be able to stop me. Then do it as a request. She spoke a little more shyly. For your Harem. Naruto re-hinged his jaw like it never happened. He gave Taunton a sincere smile before setting her down. He looked toward the trio of humans and spoke. Anything for my Harem. Chapter 21. Hokage. For shinobi and a pig that had been allowed to live were returning to their home village. If you don't know who they are, then you haven't been reading this story properly. Look like I'm back, Konoha. Tsunade spoke in a nostalgic tone. They made their way to the entrance guards. Name? They asked Jiraiya and Naruto. Returning from mission. Jiraiya stated. What mission? Retrieving Tsunade of the Sannin. Hey shithead, a lovely voice called. Where have you been? Tayuya Harem. Naruto called. I've missed you. Tsunade watched with interest as Naruto shared a kiss with the foul-mouthed girl. Between the kisses, Naruto asked if she had any trouble from sound. Tayuya proceeded to curse a storm at Naruto for letting Orochimaru get away. She was one of his elite guards, Naruto thought to himself. After had their fill, they separated and Tayuya took notice of the others. Who the hell are they? She asked. This is Jiraiya. Hello, lovely lady. Jiraiya spoke. How would you like to? It's Jiraiya, a voice spoke, causing his blood to run cold. Let's show him our love. They began to brandish weapons. Our tough love. The pervert ran as if the Shinigami was after him. Shizune and Taunton. That's a damn pig, Tayuya stated. How come you haven't eaten it yet? I tried, he admitted. Tayuya gave the pig a hard stare. You've survived his hunger. You don't know how lucky you are. This is Tsunade, our new Hokage. Naruto finished greeting. She got bigger tits than melon tits, Tayuya exclaimed. 106 centimeters to be exact, a certain pervert exclaimed from a distance. Oh Kami, no, not my AH. Where is Samui Harem and Kyuubi Harem? Naruto asked. Melon tits is only an ambassador, Tayuya stated. She does need to head home every now and again. She explained. And Fuzzy is training those foxes. Huh? He stated. What? I'm not good enough company for you? Tayuya asked. Of course you are, Naruto quickly spoke. You're my Harem, but so are they. He saw her look. I love each of you equally. I have no favorites. Then take me out, Tayuya ordered. Tonight. Can I join? Tsunade asked. Hey monster tit, Tayuya shouted. Why do you think you? Tayuya Harem meet Tsunade Harem. Naruto cut her off with a new introduction. Nice to meet you, Tsunade. Be ready by 7. She turned back to Naruto. I want sake. I like her already, Naruto. Tsunade stated. Naruto stood in front of his Hokage, Hiruzen. The aged Hokage would be stepping down, but until then he had a few headaches to deal with. One big one was from Naruto after a mission. You met 2S rank rogues? I was minding my own business. Bullshit. They came to me. Challenged one to a Genjutsu match? I had to keep damages low. Knocked Sasuke Uchiha unconscious. Gave Guy a tortoise to strip set Uchiha and leave him with his fangirls. He had to suppress a shudder punishment. You then made a deal with a broken woman. Former broken woman that would have decided the fate of the village. Yep. You then. You know what, just go to your Harems. By Naruto was in a good mood. He had a new Harem which he was taking out later. The Hokage would finally get to retire as he should have. Now he. Hey pup, a familiar voice called. Naruto turned and saw the Inuzuka clan head standing in front of him. Hello Tsum-chan, Naruto greeted. How can I help you? Well, I was about to go get some. She paused and looked around. Delicious and amazing ramen. Tsum gave a nod and Naruto understood, the ramen was near. He couldn't sense it with chakra, but he knew. The ramen monster was always watching, always waiting. Yes, Naruto agreed. Let get some mouth-watering ramen. After a bowl for Tsum and 8 for Naruto, he needed to save room for his dessert. They talked. The topic was the same as always, his mother. When they finished, Naruto decided to drop her off at her clan compound. I have something for you, Naruto. Tsum spoke. Tsum had his full attention since she rarely used his name, so it must have been important. She handed him a heart-shaped necklace. He examined it in a confused manner. What is it? He asked. Open it, pup. Naruto did and was greeted with an unsuspected sight. He saw a beautiful bright red-haired woman looking back at him. She had deep blue eyes that stared lovingly at him and flawlessly fair skin. Naruto had never seen this woman before but knew she was Kushina Uzumaki, his mother. Naruto didn't know what to say. He didn't need to imagine anymore, he could finally see what his mother looked like. He was so overcome with emotion that he grabbed Tsum and pulled her into a hug. Tsum was shocked but understood. She pulled him into a tighter embrace. Thank you, Tsum-chan, Naruto said through tears. How can I ever repay you? This time she pushed away and averted her gaze. Naruto, do you remember what you did to the Hokage? She asked. Naruto understood immediately. Who do you want to see, he asked, or would you like to experience something? I have had a mate, she admitted, but I feel like I'm forgetting him with each passing moment. She gave Naruto a desperate look. We Inuzuka choose our mates carefully and for life. He was your one and only. Naruto spoke in semi-understanding. What happened to him? I told the kids that I ran him away, she shamefully admitted, but that's not true. He died in the Kyuubi attack. She paused, making sure Naruto wasn't uncomfortable. Since we Inuzuka are life mates, I've had a long time of isolation. Relax, Naruto soothed as he removed his blindfold and gazed deeply into her eyes. What do you want? I want to remember my mate, she blushed, before adding, I want you to use your eyes on me, she stated seriously, to make me forget the pain of my lost mate, just for a little while. Naruto never thought that he'd get a request like that in his life. Everything pointed to him getting the exact opposite, but he understood the pain. No, he answered instead, let me treat you out, as a friend. But if you don't enjoy yourself, then I'll use my eyes. Tsum was a little hesitant but agreed. Naruto had gathered his Heims, minus Samui, and Tsum. After a bit of discussion and cursing, he decided to take them to a bar, not the one he had taken Enko to. He could tell she wasn't in a mile radius. This diner was actually opened very recently, luckily it had a bar. The bar occupants had taken one look at Naruto and kept a 10 feet distance from his dates. The rumors of Naruto's last bar visit had been spread like wildfire. Why the cold shoulder? Some asked. I had a date in a bar with Enko once, Naruto answered. It ended in a bar fight. Everything was shattered after that as well. A voice spoke from behind. Who the hell are you? Tayuya asked the owner. He answered, get us some damn sake. Then Tayuya ordered, I'm the owner, not a bartender, he retorted before turning to Naruto, don't wreck anything. No promises, Naruto returned, causing the man to storm off mumbling about insurance. Shall we take a seat? Kyuubi asked. They had taken a seat in a booth opposite the bar. The night had been relatively simple but very pleasant. Naruto did his best to give Tsum what she wanted and seemed to be succeeding. Tayuya, Naruto spoke, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Oh Kami, this is it. Tayuya spoke in an uncharacteristically meek tone. What is? Naruto asked. You're breaking up with me, aren't you? She asked, standing up. You want a divorce? What? No. Naruto answered hastily. You're replacing me with monster tits and this wolf bitch. She started. Is that it? It is, isn't it? No, he. Tsum was cut off by a punch from Tayuya. The blow knocked her out of her seat. You brought me to this damn bar so I wouldn't make a fucking scene, didn't you? Tayuya grabbed the nearest stool, which happened to be occupied by a customer. Well, I'll make a fucking scene. She raised the stool high into the air. Tayuya Heim. Naruto spoke in a tone his Heims had never heard. I'm not breaking up with you, in fact it's the opposite. Oh. She spoke embarrassed. Why did you think I was about to break up with you? Naruto asked. Because I don't have a pretty face, she mumbled, or large tits. Tayuya, the other girls spoke sympathetically. You know Naruto doesn't care about that. Tayuya looked away in shame before answering in a weak voice, I know. Excuse me, a terrified voice called. I don't mean to interrupt, B, but could you put me down? They turned to the voice only to find a man on the stool Tayuya was wielding. She said nothing as she tossed the stool and him aside. My leg. Who told you that you don't have a pretty face? Naruto asked. You're beautiful. Tayuya said nothing, she didn't need to. Her eyes wandered to the men in the bar eyeing his Heims, minus her. So that's it, she's jealous. Naruto stood up and walked toward the bar. He ordered the strongest and most expensive sake they owned. I'm so disappointed in you, Naruto spoke. You let the ones who called me a demon get to you. He looked around. Most of these people are simple-minded bigots. He gave the occupants a glare. They eye women as if they were a piece of meat to be eaten and throw the scraps away. He stared straight at her. Do you want to be treated like that? No, she whispered. Then don't let them affect you. He gave his Himes a loving look. You all are beautiful in my eyes. Thanks, shithead. Tayuya spoke now. Naruto shouted in a cheery tone, let's try to get drunk and watch me fail at it. Some had to admit that she had a good evening. Naruto gave her what she wanted, the absence of a broken heart. Naruto had treated her as if she was one of his Himes. But all too soon it came to an end. They were once again in front of Tsum's clan house. This time his Himes were standing a bit away so Tsum and he could have some privacy. I had a great evening, pup. Tsum spoke. Thanks. You're welcome. Naruto spoke. Sorry if it got awkward with my Himes. He looked toward her cheek and the punch. No problem, she waved it off. Honestly, I'm glad I tried your way. She admitted, I would hate myself if I forgot my mate, even for a second. She paused as she rubbed her cheek. Tayuya can throw a mean punch. Some pulled Naruto into a tight hug and Dobe. Naruto turned to see both Kiba and Hana staring at the pair. Kiba had on a look of anger and disgust. Hana had a look of anger and betrayal. Hello, Kiba, Hana. Naruto greeted. Don't just hello us, Dobe. Kiba shouted. Mom. Hana shouted again. What are you doing with Naruto? Are you seeing him? She looked at their position. You are, aren't you? She accused. Why? Some asked, causing Hana to freeze up in confusion. Why what? Hana asks, why do you care if I see Naruto? Some asks calmly. Hana tried to give a reply but faltered on her tongue. It didn't help that her mother was giving her the mom look when caught trying to lie. The one that pierces every nerve. Naruto. Tsum spoke, not taking her eyes off Hana. Thank you for the evening, but no need to say it. Naruto spoke. Same time tomorrow at Ichiraku. Yes, they had walked from the Inuzukas in a tense silence. Tsunade didn't know why and felt out of the loop. Naruto. Tsunade spoke. Who was that? Hana. Inuzuka. Naruto answered in an unusual tone. Tsum's daughter. Why do you seem off? Tsunade asked, never noticing Kyubi and Tayuya trying to warn her. That is a story for another night. Are you planning on making Tsum a Hime? Kyubi quickly asked. No, Naruto answered, she's just a good friend. Hello, Naruto, a lazy voice spoke. Lovely evening for a stroll on the road of life. What the hell do you want, Kakashi? Tayuya asked Sasuke and I. Naruto, a voice called. I have such youthful news. It was Guy Lee's indoor voice. Everyone stated in monotone. Sorry, Guy spoke sheepishly. They're coming, the eggs are coming. What eggs? Kakashi asked calmly. The ones Guts and Grit will have. Guy answered, Guts and Grit? Tayuya asked, what the hell kind of name is that? Well, Lee's turtle. No. Kakashi whispered, and my tortoise. No. It was louder. Will have youthful eggs. How the hell is that possible? Naruto asked. Their shells shouldn't allow that. The blonde paused to think. Wait, I just gave you that tortoise. True, Guy agreed. Their shells did get in the way. He seemed upset over that, but when Lee and I saw their determination, we knew we had to help spread the. Don't say it. Kakashi ordered the. I'm warning you. He shouted. The youth. Arg. Lee and I saw their devotion to each other, so we aided them. How could we not help them show each other their love? There were tears of joy in Guy's eyes. Naruto, we would like for you to be their godfather. Guy, you. Wait, I'm your rival, Kakashi stated. Shouldn't I be the godfather? Your flames have went out. Guy stated in a tone most didn't know he was capable of. I would be honored, Naruto spoke cheerfully. Good. Guy cheered. Lee is guarding them, so will you help me make a safe place for the eggs? He turned to his Himes. Go ahead. They spoke. The two were off in a flash. Wait, Guy. Kakashi ran after them. Now that he is gone, Tsunade spoke. I want the truth about Hana, she ordered, and any others. There were other. Kyubi whispered. It all started on a shitty day. Tayuya started. Tsunade was pissed. No, that was an understatement. She was feeling rage that couldn't be measured by normal standards. Tsunade had finally gotten the answers she wanted from Tayuya and Kyubi. All of it, that included the former Himes. Those hussies, she would have her revenge. No one messes with my man. But that would have to wait. The citizens of Konoha, both shinobi and civilian alike, were gathered. They stood in a crowd around the center of the village looking up to a balcony. On that balcony was the Hokage making a public announcement. Citizens of Konoha Sarutobi spoke. I am finally retiring as the Hokage. There was a chorus of protest to the aged shinobi. Now, I leave you in good hands. There was a round of applause. He motioned toward the entrance of the balcony. Out stepped Naruto in his full glory, a shit-eating smile on his face. A cold silence fell over the entire village. We're all going to die. Someone spoke quickly. Another shouted, kill yourself while you have the chance. I'm not senile enough to leave Naruto in charge. Yet the aged shinobi spoke. Citizens of Konoha Sarutobi shouted, I give you your sixth Hokage. Tsunade Senju. Naruto shouted. Tsunade stepped out onto the balcony in full Hokage robes. There was another round of applause for the new village leader. One of the civilians, a council member, spoke. Should we really make her our leader? He asked, silencing the crowd. She abandoned the village and became a wandering drunken gambler. Many seemed to consider his idea, plus she's so old, and he went silent. Everyone was staring at No beside him. Where Naruto stood. They made eye contact. The man felt himself become stiff. His skin became tough with bark and his bones felt as brittle as the branch on a tree. The very blood in his body became thick and slowed as if trapped in his small veins. Naruto had turned another person into a tree. Anyone else want to question my Heime's right to lead? Naruto asked the crowd as he returned to his Heime's side. Questions? Who questioning? Not us. Shut up and take our ramen. The citizens had learned one thing about Naruto. His Heimes were his life. Mess with them and you were lucky to die with your sanity intact. Well, citizens Sarutobi spoke again. I can assure you that Tsunade is a changed person. He looked at their expected faces. I expect her to be an even better Hokage than me. Naruto stepped forward. How many of you actually think Tsunade is old? He asked. Just give me a show of hands. No one made any movements. How many of you aren't answering because you think I'll punish you? A forest of hands. Well, I'll have to fix that. Naruto stated. He walked toward Tsunade and dropped his blindfold. He lowered the new Hokage and delivered a passionate kiss that made her legs wobbly. And former Heime's jealous. When he finished, he stood back. Please drop your illusion, Naruto requested. What? Tsunade asked in shock. Trust me. He pleaded. Tsunade couldn't turn him down with the look he was making. Fine, she grumbled, but don't complain when you see how unfine your wine is. Tsunade dropped her Genjutsu and stared at Naruto. She had expected him to have a look of shock or disgust on his face. All she saw was his constant loving gaze. Still fine to me, Naruto stated honestly. That's sweet. Naruto. Tsunade spoke in relief, but look at all these wrinkles. What wrinkles? Sarutobi asked. Naruto drew both his swords and held them together. Thanks to all the care he gave them, they were polished to perfection. Tsunade could see her reflection and was shocked. I thought I released the disguise. She tried again. And again and again. Why won't it release? After several more tries she gave up and looked towards Naruto's smug smile. What is he? She noticed Sarutobi's as well. My hinged jutsu is real, he spoke. Placing it on another is child's play. He gloated. This my gift to you. Tsunade. Naruto spoke for the village hidden in the leaves. He shouted to the mass below. I give you Tsunade Senju in her prime. The roaring cheers could be heard all the way to Kumo. He's given me a second chance. She though. There was so much she could do now without limit. Things she could enjoy once again. Make up for missed opportunities and fix old mistakes. What are you going to do now? Sarutobi asked. She looked toward Naruto. You. My room. Now. You all know how that goes. You called for me, Hokage-sama? Naruto chuckled. Yes, she answered. If this doesn't make me his favorite, nothing will. I have something for you, Naruto. She spoke as she handed him a scroll. I'm sure you'll love it. Of course I will, Naruto stated with a smile as he began reading. Any gift from a Haim is. Well, Tsunade spoke with a smug grin. How is it? There was one thing Tsunade knew about Naruto. He was sweet to his Heims. What she didn't know was that he was one crazed bastard. All she had seen of him was strength and devotion. Never his madness. Ha 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 ha. I hope you remember that laugh. It was Tsunade's first time hearing it, and she knew someone is screwed. Hard. And deep. Chapter 22. Revenge. The Hokage's office was full of 12 shinobi and the former Hokage. They were the remains of Team 7, Kiba, Ino, the former Heims and their men. You shinobi have been summoned to pay for past crimes. Tsunade spoke. What crimes? Ino asked Team 7, you two have attempted to sabotage a fellow shinobi. No names were needed. HN. He's a dope, he's a baka, you say something? Asuma Sarutobi, countless of sexual harassment, every female and his father glared at him. Your record is second only to Jiraiya's. Well, he had nothing to say. Kiba Inuzuka, destroying property during your clan's manhunt for Naruto. He kept us up all night. Kiba shouted. Ino Yamanaka, interfering with a match during the Chunin exams. But he got me in trouble with daddy. She whined. Irika Yumino, several counts of coming to work drunk. Everyone had a shocked look on their face. Irika? Anko asked, this is my innocent Irika? Don't you all look at me like that. He spoke. Some of the kids idolized Naruto and now hate me. He explained, I'm just under a lot of stress. Hell, Naruto is training some of them. Hey 8 Gecko, breaking the third's law during the Chunin exams. I haven't, excuse. He quickly answered. Yes, Tsunade spoke sarcastically. The demon made you do it, we heard it all before. What about us, Hokage-sama? Yugo asked. What are our crimes? You four have large records of assault on men. Tsunade spoke. They were perverts. They countered as one. I know and I approve your actions, Tsunade said, shocking them. You just made one mistake. Which is? You four got caught. Hiruzen answered. Castrated men tend to hold a grudge. What are our punishments? Ino asked. Pay a fine for everyone you assaulted, or. Since these crimes coexist with the same person, it's simple. Tsunade had an oddly familiar smirk. You all will have to get Naruto to accept your apology. So we're paying a fine. Hey 8 spoke. No, they'll pay a fine. Sarutobi corrected. You'd be executed. Hokage-sama, this is completely unfair. Kurenai shouted. You are abusing your power. What do you mean? Tsunade asked calmly. You're setting it up so Naruto can have payback. Hana stated. There's no way he'd accept our apology. I am just helping a loyal shinobi of the Leaf gain more power. Tsunade corrected angrily. Something that you should have done. She though, as she glared at Kakashi. It just happens that there are certain people in need of punishment for past crimes. There is a way to get the apology. Tsunade spoke after she calmed herself. It was an idea by Naruto. They began to pale. What would we have to do? Ino asked. Sign this. She produced a scroll. It says that for 1 hour, Naruto can have his revenge in any way. They paled even further. As long as he doesn't kill or cripple you, everything is free game. She continued. You will be able to try and defend yourself, but, so do we pay to you directly, or? Kurenai asked, cutting her off. Kurenai. Kakashi called cutting her off as well. You're passing up a free ticket? Cyclopes, he will do things that make our assaults on perverts look pretty. Anko stated. We've actually updated some of our interrogation methods using his ideas. Even Ibiki found those cruel. Hiruzen mumbled to himself. Some of us don't have a choice. Hey 8 stated. He signed. I need my smoke money. Asuma stated. He signed. If I can drink then I can't teach. Irika stated. He signed. I don't fear the dobe. Sasuke stated. I can take whatever he's got. He signed. If Sasuke-kun goes, then so do I, Sakura shouted. She signed. I won't let forehead one-up me. Ino stated. She signed. I can't let 2 girls be tougher than me. Kiba stated. He signed. I could teach Naruto a thing or two. Kakashi stated. He signed. I'm paying the fine. The mistresses spoke as one. Since you 4 knew Naruto better than the ones who signed, Hiruzen spoke. Any advice for them? Yes. First we recommend pissing yourselves. Hana started. Then praying to whoever you believe in. Kurenai continued. Then kissing your asses goodbye. Anko finished. I'm not afraid of the dobe, Sasuke stated. None of us are. Asuma spoke. Tsunade leaned forward with Hiruzen as one. They spoke. You should be. They whispered. And you will. Naruto had never felt this good. Not when he became a shinobi. Not when he gained his first batch of Harems. Not when he gained his power. There was only one thing that ever rivaled the happiness he was feeling. It was pain, the pain of betrayal and heartbreak. The one he felt that made him want to end his life. He was currently making his way toward his destination, the Shinobi Academy. Now he only had to wait. News of the deal had spread all across the village. Everyone was present as the shinobi made their way to the destination, the academy. Both shinobi and civilian, young and old. The mistresses were the only ones not to sign. They knew what Naruto could do, they trained him after all. There go some foolish souls, one shouted. Dead men walking. Zabuza stated that is what they have been hearing since they left the Hokage's office. They have had enough. Enough. Kiba shouted. We, cough, are Konoha's elites. Hey 8 shouted. There is no way the dope can defeat any of us. Sasuke shouted. They arrived to the academy, the Konohamaru Corps stood in front of the entrance. Abandon all hope, they spoke eerily low, and as one. Ye who enter here. That's not reassuring. Ino whimpered. Don't tell me you're scared. No way, Ino shouted. You should be the Corps. Spoke again and you will. They entered the academy. Are they in? Jiraiya asked. Yes, Tsunade answered. So you're sure you can get him to drop the Genjutsu for me if I do this for you? He asked. He had found out about it when he realized no one else could see it. Yes, now do it, you pervert. Tsunade ordered, perverted style, widespread peeping. Now everyone in the village would be able to see what was happening in the academy.
Go support me on Patreon for more fanfiction that includes adult content as well. The link is in the description and like everywhere on my channel. Thank you for your views, likes, subscriptions, and overall support of my ongoing efforts to bring great content to all of you.